Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Woo! St. Pat's Day.
St. Patrick, patron saint of Ireland. Every March 17th, we honor St. Patrick by getting wasted.
And the green paint's for the beer.
Why not just use food coloring for the beer?
Because beer's not a food. When was the last time you ate a beer?
When was the last time you drank paint?
Have you been drinking paint? No.
Let me see your tongue.
Oh my God, dude! Oh, that's disgusting. It's not bad.
You can't drink paint.
I know. I hear you.
You say that, but I don't think that you're gonna stop.
St. Patrick is the patron saint of strangers peeing in your front garden. That is how he is still commemorated around the world for one day every year.
It's been St. Patrick's Day for hours, and I'm still not drunk yet.
Top of the morning to you.
Okay, happy St. Patrick's Day.
It's showtime.
Happy St. Patty's Day, you bunch of drunk sumbitches, was a direct text message already sent to us this morning from a feller that calls himself John Deere Jesus. Same to you, you dirty prick, and welcome to the St. Patrick's Day edition of the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Here we go, huh? Some of yous are going to straight up come undone with the drinking today and tonight to celebrate whatever St. Patrick's Day is supposed to represent. Do we even know? Does it matter?
I look it up every year, and then I forget by the time next year rolls around.
Yeah.
Is today the day St. Patrick passed? Is that kind of why it's celebrated on the 17th?
The day that he died?
I believe so.
That. I'm going to go along with that. Now that, you see, I have just spotty memories of my Catholic education. Just spotty memories. I never got dialed into it. You were more...
Moron.
No, you're not a moron. Your family was much more... Is the word strict?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Very attuned to that. I mean, St. Patrick wasn't like necessarily a big deal, but I sure enjoyed the Reubens. That's what I look forward to every year is the cabbage and the Reubens. So to me, it's not about like getting wasted or anything. I did enjoy the parades and stuff, but mostly the Reubens.
It was something about St. Patrick. This is the day that he checked out, 500 years ago. The notorious St. Patrick's Day parade in St. Paul begins at effing noon. They'll be openly urinating on the sidewalks, I bet a good hour or so before the parade even begins. Folks will be getting into the Steve Weisers and the hard liquor. God be with the bartenders and servers working today and tonight. Kick the sumbitches out into the street if you have to.
When I was a server bartender, every year you would write down what holidays you wanted off. Because, somebody's got to work the holidays. We were open 365 days a year. And I would always pick St. Patrick's Day as one of them just because I didn't want to deal with the drunks. St. Patrick's Day and New Year's Eve.
Really? I would have thought those would be big money makers.
No, it's a lot of young 21-year-olds that don't tip.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought, today, bartenders, as much of a pain in the butt it might be, they're going to walk home rich. So that's not necessarily the case.
I guess it depends where you work, depends what your clientele is like.
So you never worked a St. Patrick's Day nor a New Year's Eve?
No, that was my biggest nightmare.
What's the one you want to work, around Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I would do Thanksgiving and then Labor Day, Memorial Day.
Oh, 4th of July, I bet.
Local 34 Jesus said the old lady and he have had about 10 Reubens the past 5 days. He can't eat anymore. Anymore.
It's also one of my favorites. Here's metal grinding, deburring Jesus. He wants to start a history fight with us. He says St. Patrick was Irish, was not Irish. He was Welsh. Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, sure. We'll take your word for it.
Well, maybe he was, but he's He's known not for driving snakes out of Welsh. I think it was Ireland.
Was that what he did with the snakes?
I think he ate a lot of them.
He ate them up?
It says right here he was born Roman Britain.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
You mean his real name is Roman Britain?
No. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
okay.
Dude, hey, metal grinding, deburring Jesus. If you want to start a St. Patrick was really Welsh movement, I got your back, dude.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Because it doesn't matter at all to me.
No, I'm fine wherever he's from. Anybody? I know, Ashley, you're exempt here because you're growing my nephew.
Yeah.
Anybody here party at all over the weekend?
No, I mean, nothing connected to St. Patrick's Day.
Just a normal weekend type of thing?
It was a normal weekend.
You didn't go extra?
No, I had probably maybe one too many Saturday night shooting pocket billiards with the derelicts at my neighborhood bar, but it had nothing to do with, how do you call it, St. Patrick's Day, that Welsh hero that we all love and respect.
Run with that, huh?
To answer the question of Bug-Eye Wagon Jesus, no, my mom is not the one famous for eating snakes, and F you for saying such a thing so early in the morning.
Eating snakes. That's a reach, dude. That's a huge reach. It's too early for that kind of a reach.
My social
Maybe
media...
swallowing snakes would have been better.
Right.
My
Not to
social
criticize.
media has been reminding me all weekend. It'll send me memories from the last couple years or whatever it is. And boy, have things changed. From drinking just all weekend, smoking cigarettes for some reason, dressing all slutty, and now I was just chilling at home all weekend.
Would last year have been different, though, as you were not with child? Was last year the most recent big partying year, or have you kind of slowed down since?
I've slowed down, but it's hard to explain because, like, the going out to different bars has slowed down, but the amount that I drank did not slow down.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we used to blow the doors off the joint on St. Patrick's Day, and part of it, of course, was because, it wasn't always on St. Patrick's Day proper, We'd find a weekend closest to. And it wasn't just the excuse of St. Patrick's Day to get hammered that did us in. It was the hockey tournaments and the basketball tournaments, because the NCAA basketball and hockey tournaments are both set to start, so we would factor that in, roll some televisions into my garage. The last real banger, all-out kegger that I remember from St. Patrick's Day was probably 10 years ago. And a buddy of mine kind of threw a wet blanket over the friggin' scene. We're all having a great time. Kegs in the garage, basketball tournament on one TV, hockey tournament on the other. We had the corned beef and cabbage on the stove, Josh. It was just a real scene. And then one of my buddies, he brought a couple of meth addicts over to the house.
Lovely. Killing the vibe.
Had he known them for a while, or were these recent friends?
These were new girlfriends that he had met.
Oh, jeez.
And it was... They were just frightening. But he was too clueless and too horny.
Okay.
And too drunk. Not just on that night, but every day of his life.
Sure.
To understand what he had done. It got so bad I had to call him the next day, and I said, don't you dare ever bring those people to my house ever again. Oh, God, that was...
that reminds me, I was briefly dating a girl, and I brought her to a buddy's Halloween party a couple years ago. And this girl was a disaster in a lot of ways, but also very fun in a lot of ways, as you can imagine. And we're in the Uber on the way home. My buddy texts me, and he goes, dude, I don't know what that was, but that wasn't it.
That was not it.
That was not it.
He wanted you to move on.
Yeah.
This pal of mine, I mean, I gave him a little bit of a break at first, just because he doesn't know. He's not very popular with the ladies, unfortunately. He's never had a lot of luck with the ladies. Drinks a lot, so his judgment is always a little off. And I'll never forget, I called him, and I said, hey, I'm having a hell of a lot of people over at the house for a St. Patrick's Day kind of March Madness thing. I haven't seen you in a while. Why don't you come over? I'll never forget. I didn't understand it at the time, but it was a warning, because he said, you mind if I bring a couple of women over? And I said, well, yeah. And I was happy for him.
Nobody's ever minded that at a bar.
And I was happy to even hear that from him because, like I said, he's never had a lot of luck. And here he comes in with these gals, and I mean, you could see it from a mile away.
Buddy.
Oh, no, the meth addicts are here.
Tattooed lowlife Jesus said he and the wife hit it hard last night, drove all the way to get a Shamrock Shake, and then home and went to bed. That's about my speed nowadays.
Oh, I love those.
That's living right there.
That's all it takes.
That's right. Shamrock Shake season is what it really is.
I completely forgot about that. I know what I'm doing after the show.
I thought there might be deals on Shamrock Shakes today. Don't quote me on that.
Oh.
I thought I saw
Well,
that.
now I think I should.
I think, Ashley, you sent me something on it.
Do they start serving them right away?
Shamrock Shakes?
Yeah.
Oh, they've been going on for a bit.
I mean, like, if I get there by 9:30 this morning, will they be mixing them up?
I don't know.
Because I'd like to bring, maybe the wife wants one. So, yeah, you bartenders and servers, you're some tough people. No way I could handle that gig, and God be with you today. I was just reading about bartenders. I was reading an article. Bartenders were jaw-jacking about the problems they encounter on the job come every St. Patrick's Day. And I was just saying something about a couple of meth addicts that hung out at my house one night about 10 years ago, and it was a lot of fun for everyone involved. The first issue that I was reading about from these bartenders was something that never would have crossed my mind. Issues that they encounter on the job come every St. Patrick's Day. The first issue they listed was drugs. I know a couple people who are on drugs. What they mean by that, they say there's a lot of drug use at the bars for a day that's so closely associated with straight-up boozing. And one bartender is quoted here saying, when you think about it, if you're going to drink all day starting at 8 a.m., you're going to need some drugs to keep you going.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I know a couple guys who do exactly that. You know, my group of pals, when we go out of town together, from the time we were kids, we're drink all day people. But now we're 50-some years old. That's very, very difficult to do. I mean, unless you want to miss Monday and Tuesday at work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. You just can't function anymore at our age drinking all day. Some try, but they're in bed by 6, 7, 8 p.m. So I certainly can't do it anymore. All day, no way. Not like I used to. But there's a couple pals of mine who are still able to do it, and I think it's because they're popping drugs.
Well, I wish the article said what drugs, because it can't be like marijuana or something, right?
Oh,
It's got to be some sort of upper.
Yeah.
I mean, what are
Yeah.
your friends doing?
I can't remember the name of it.
It's not meth, right?
No.
I wouldn't assume you're.
It's nothing frightening, hard street type stuff. Sorry if I made it seem like I have a couple
Well, what
friends
else is there? Cocaine?
Adderall?
Adderall is an upper?
I'm going to go with that one.
Isn't Adderall like meth? I apologize. I don't
Yes.
know. Okay.
That's what I'm going. What? It's like meth.
I thought it was kind of
well,
a meth.
that can't be it. I don't know what it is.
I have no idea. That's just what I've heard.
Neither do I. I know nothing about drugs. Let's see what else the bartenders have to say here. Oh, vomit is a problem. And they say especially once they start mixing up that green beer. It obviously it puts a whole different paint job on things when it's green vomit.
I like a little whimsy in my barf.
That does take you back a little bit when you're walking down the street and you see it's broad daylight and some college kid's hands on his knees just spraying out green liquid. It is a little off-putting.
I never really drank green beer because it was always a beer that I never liked that they colored that keg green.
We tried
I was
it.
nah.
We tried it a few times and
not worth the hassle.
I didn't really give a rat's ass one way or the other. Vomit is a problem on St. Patrick's Day, the bartenders say, especially when the beer is green. Of course, they make a comparison to the classic movie The Exorcist, when you see that pouring down the walls, at 4 p.m.
Okay, so people are texted in on Adderall and meth, that they are cousins in the drug family.
Well, that's not good.
They're both amphetamines.
Yeah, but
So they're
Adderall's
similar.
legal.
Yeah,
so they prescribe it too.
kids.
It used to be
Oh, yeah,
called the
that's-
mommy drug because moms would pretend their kid has ADHD so that they could get some Adderall.
Right, and so that's what I've heard, that somebody gets an ADHD diagnosis, to take the Adderall. I know in high school they sell it.
Yeah, I had plenty of friends that had ADHD and then flipped their Adderall.
That's the only way I could drink from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. anymore is if you put some pills in my system and kept me going like that. Is that what the Rolling Stones were talking about when they sang to us about Mother's Little Helper?
Yeah, is that? Yeah, there's a couple different drugs.
That Adderall? Urine is a problem at the bar on St. Patrick's Day. A bartender said when you work enough St. Patrick's Days, you just get used to seeing people openly peeing on the floor or against the bar. Thanks for that.
Ew.
Josh, didn't you squeeze isn't the word. Didn't you squeeze into a trash can at a Bush concert or something 30 years ago? Or is that the liquor talking?
I don't think that was me.
I thought that was you. You had to pee up on the floor at a concert at First Avenue or something?
No.
All right. Forget it.
But I almost got beat up at First Avenue while peeing in a urinal. Well, somebody joked around about it, but I wasn't sure how much joking there was happening.
What were they going to? Why did they have to beat you up for taking a whiz?
Some guy just said, "Hey, look at the guy taking a whiz," or whatever he said. Let's kick his ass.
Oh,
no.
And you were the only one taking a whiz?
I was the first one at the urinal, and I thought, my goodness, all I wanted to do was urinate.
It's terrible.
Bathroom sex gets the bartenders aggravated on St. Patrick's Day? Sure. Well, they tell a quick story here about a couple that was thrown out the bar for bumping in the bathroom, threw them out the bar, and then this couple got arrested because they kept it going in the alley up against a dumpster. Man, you really want to get it done.
They were horny.
When you're pinning someone up against a dumpster.
Oh.
Everybody's been there.
Yeah.
No.
And then the fighting.
Ashley, come on. You have to.
Not a dumpster. I have standards. That has to at least be a bathroom, Josh.
Like a bathroom floor at the state fair?
Yeah.
The filthiest spot in Hennepin County between the end of August and the beginning of September.
Dumpster's too far.
You have standards. All right, fine. Where's the most ridiculous place you ever got it on, Josh?
I'm embarrassed to say.
You are embarrassed?
Yeah, it was really gross.
Where was it?
It was it was in a porta potty.
Oh, yeah. Porta
but
potty.
Only at Edge Fest.
Oh.
No big deal.
Just
no big
diarrhea everywhere.
Oh, dude, it was gross.
Are we talking day one, day two? What are we looking at? Do you remember? Because that makes a difference.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
For me, the most ridiculous place was back in college. My pals, including my brother, had a great party house. That's where we were 9 nights out of 10. And, of course, it was disgusting. Most of the place was fairly disgusting. But they had one room that was unoccupied, and it was just mountains of miscellaneous storage items, including everyone's hockey bag and hockey gear. And so all those
great in there, I bet.
Smellier than hell, and so one night, me and this lady, we needed it bad, and so if there was a party going on, the only available room was this storage room, and that, like I was explaining, that makes it sound more organized than it was. It was just random garbage, including hockey gear. So, I mean, we had sex on top of hockey skates and nut cups and shin pads and helmets.
Disgusting.
So it's horribly uncomfortable.
The smell. I just think of the smell.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't remember the smell. I remember the pain of kneeling on top of someone's hockey skates in order to have sex. But anyway, the last complaint that bartenders have here, I mean, at least the last on this list, fighting. Fist fights in the streets, fist fights at the bar. They say for whatever reason, St. Patrick's Day brings out the just give me a reason kind of fake tough guys.
Oh, everybody knows those guys.
All right,
I've never been one of those guys.
Those guys are ready for it all year long, too.
Yeah,
There was a time I thought I was going to watch one of those guys die. And this was a buddy of mine whose birthday's today. By the way, happy birthday, Chris. We were at his bachelor party, and there was a little guy I'd never met. And by the end of the night, he was really hammered, and he wanted to fight everybody. Everybody. And then so we're downtown Minneapolis. We walk outside, and he decided to approach probably the scariest guys I've ever seen in my entire life, and there were 6 of them. And to these guys' credit, they really gave him a lot of leeway because he had very mouthy, and I don't know what his problem was. I think he thought the rest of us would back him up.
Sure.
Because we had been all night just saying, I'm sorry. I can't tell you how many times I said, I don't know this guy personally. He started out the night very kind. I don't know. He's just drunk. I'm very sorry. And at this point, we said, all right, you're on your own. I'm not messing with these guys. None of us wanted to get involved. Lucky for him, we ended up walking away and nothing happened. But I thought he's dead.
The fake tough guy.
And it's the littlest guy.
Yeah, are you sure I wasn't with you? Weren't we at the Skyway?
No, you wouldn't have been.
Okay.
I don't think.
Do you remember a bachelor party where we were at the Skyway and someone in our group, again, we didn't know everybody because it was a bachelor party. Some tiny little guy was trying to fight everyone at the Skyway, and you and I had to just say, hey, we don't know this friggin' guy from Dick Tracy.
That's 2 then. But this guy was like a little dude with glasses. He looked like a librarian.
Oh, God.
I don't know what his deal was. I've never seen beer muscles that big in my entire life. I thought he was dead.
St. Patrick's Day. The problems the bartenders say, again, quick rundown. Drugs, vomit, urine, bathroom sex, and fighting. Not necessarily in that order. Painfully dry humor, Jesus, says the old Rolling Stones song, Mother's Little Helper, was a reference to Valium.
Yes, that's what Mother's... Okay, I thought I heard it was a different drug.
That was lame when I was in high school, so Adderall became...
Valium wasn't cool enough for you?
Yeah, no, Valium was so out.
Oh, you do Valium, you loser.
Honestly, I'd never heard of anybody even having that in high school.
Zumi Jesus, who I very much enjoy his texts, who I will no longer stand next to in a thunderstorm, however. Most ridiculous place for sex, at 15, he apparently found a spot in the basement of the Catholic Church to have some coitus.
Is that right?
Oh, man, there's no way I could do that. No way.
Oh, I've been there.
What do you mean you've been there?
Hooked up in a church.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You got to hook up in a church, Josh.
No.
Yeah.
A while.
Our spot for a while.
And I know
was
there's
church
jokes
parking
there.
Lots.
We were in a pinch.
Yeah, I had a joke ready. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, you can't.
What are you talking about? Tell us about when you had sex in a church.
We were going to a hockey game in Eden Prairie, and this was before phone, GPS, and stuff like that. I had a good idea of where the arena was in Eden Prairie, but of course I missed the mark. We couldn't find it, so we stopped off on one of those mega churches. I just assumed there'd be somebody at the front desk to give directions. We go in there and it's pretty empty, so we just started exploring, and then one thing led to another.
And you started exploring.
Yeah.
Dude.
Never made the hockey game.
Really?
No.
Boy, you last a long time.
Well, no, it wasn't. Okay,
I
that
could've
made
easily
me
made the
sound
hockey
cocky.
game.
It did not last very long, but then once it got done, we're like, do we really even still want to go to the game?
Now, do you want to use your joke, Josh, or you still want to skip it?
No.
All right, I'm going to skip mine, too. Who was it? I thought it was... I've seen this credited to Frank Sinatra. Quote. I've seen this quote credited to Frank Sinatra. I've seen the quote credited to Dean Martin. I couldn't tell you for sure. The famous drinking quote, I feel bad for people who don't drink. When they wake up in the morning, that's as good as they're going to feel all day. That one still grabs me. Hey, folks, quick heads up here. Be listening this morning, today, all day. 93X and Holiday Station stores and Red Wing Shoes want to give you free gas for a by-damn year. Listen for your keyword at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on weekdays for a shot at $93 in free gas. Plus, everyone who wins is qualified for the grand prize, free gas for a year. If you want more information on this setup, head on over to 93x.com and click on the, clink isn't a word, click.
It is a word.
Well, not one that applies to this conversation. Click on the free gas icon. And Dana over there, I think, is going to go ahead and dump that first keyword on you at 9 a.m. skis. Boy, so
I love
much.
this prize.
I've always liked it, too, and
the practical ones are my most favorite.
Yeah. Folks always seem to kind of come uncorked for this, and I understand why, because gas is wildly expensive. But my damn times have changed. Josh, you remember back in the day when we would ask our listeners to get a certain type of bumper sticker, well, of course, one that represented the radio station in one way or another, and then we'd put some high school kids in the radio station van and have them chase folks down on the highway.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's before we had company lawyers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember that when I first started. I'd be in the passenger seat, someone driving the radio station van, and then whoever was on the air at the time would call me, and we would do it live. Are you behind someone? Yeah, I'm behind someone right now. It's a Ford Escort. They have a sticker on there? Yes, they do. What's the license plate? And we give out the license plate number. Of course, our hope is then that the person is actively listening, and they, oh, my God, Ed, that's me. And they pull over, and we do some kind of anticlimactic conversation with the person behind the wheel.
I always thought that was cool.
Hey, sometimes it came off cool, but sometimes it was like, hey, man, it's us from the radio station. You've won free gas. And the guy would go, oh, yeah? Yeah.
This is my buddy's car.
That is the worst.
And it would go nowhere, and then, you send it back, and everyone in the building's disappointed because you didn't draw some, wild reaction out of them. Well, some people are pretty low-key.
Why was that? Yeah, I had that happen, too. And they get pissed at you, like, well, what am I supposed to do?
What do you want me to give the guy a hand job, for God's sake?
Here's an incredible prize.
Yeah.
And then they just, okay.
Some people don't care, and they're just not. So there you go. Be listening for that later. Well, I suppose we got to get going. Look at the time already. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Be careful. Have a blast. We'll be talking on and off, I'm sure, about this massive holiday as the day continues on. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder will be with us at 7:30. We'll take a little break. We have a case of beer in the studio if anybody wants to have a quick one.
We do, don't we?
And we'll get to that stupid news here in a few minutes on the Programski.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
No Contest Wrestling, where O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson bring their hot takes with the biggest names in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Braun Breaker. Welcome to the pod.
My aspirations in life, I always wanted to be a WWE superstar.
The Prodigy, Roxanne Perez. I got to talk about the Hugger cosplay.
I mean, it was perfect, wasn't it? You know?
LA Knight.
What am I doing here? At this point, I can retire. See you, everybody.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Josh?
Yes, sir.
Light of my life, there's a listener out there who texted us this morning to say that he once had sex, got it on, in a hospital's church confessional.
Wow.
Isn't that where folks go to pray that grandma kicks out at 2?
Yep.
That's a bold, ice-cold move on your part.
Which
sir.
side? It makes a difference. The priest side or the congregant side?
No details here. I don't even have a name for this pimp. Got it smooth on in a hospital's church confessional. Right next door, someone's in there on their knees praying that great-grandma kicks out at 2, and he's in there bumping.
Good for you.
Or maybe if they were bumping in the priest side, somebody comes in to do their confessional, and that's what's on the other side is people having sex.
That would be interesting to see how they determine what the priest's message was.
Right.
All the moaning and the screaming God, maybe. Oh, God.
Yes, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And all they hear in return is...
A hospital is sketchy enough.
We've been wished Happy St. Patrick's Day from one of Ashley's favorite listeners, Willie Water.
Hey, Willie Water.
I love him.
He says he'll be at the parade in St. Paul today. Willie Water, who made his world premiere at the State Fair with us last summer. Now he's a big deal. And he's being it. Listen to the crowd. They chant for him. Where's Willie Water from again? What company does he represent? I'd like to say, give him credit. I can't remember. Willie Water. Anyone remember?
I'm trying to remember.
I'll get back to me.
He's kind of, it's kind of like when Harry Styles broke out of One Direction. You forget about One Direction, just like Willie Water. He's kind of went solo, and you forget where he came from. He's too big a star.
He's become a real pain in the ass.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I'm kidding, Willie Water. Go have a great time in St. Paul. Josh, can we get the crowd to calm down? The parade doesn't start until noon.
I told you he's a big deal.
They're crazy. This one guy can't wait to see.
He's leading the charge.
You mentioned earlier, Cubby, you don't get into the drinking and the drugs, the sex that's correlated with St. Patrick's Day. You're all about the food.
I love it.
Corned beef,
That's
cabbage,
pretty much my only motivation anymore.
Stinking Reuben, right? Got a message here from Red Butcher Jesus. He said, if you want some good corned beef and kraut, they're going to be serving it up at the Post 586 Legion this Saturday in Lonsdale. Do you know a guy called Dickie?
Dickie from Lonsdale. It's been a while since we've heard from him.
I haven't heard from Dickie in a long time.
We used to all the time.
They're serving the best corned beef you'll ever find, they say, at the Legion in Lonsdale this Saturday. That's a poke. If we go, Cubby, you're driving.
Oh, I'd be fine doing that. I don't think there'd be a way it'd be safe for you to drive home, I'd imagine.
Not a chance in hell. I think my hometown Legion, Wyzetta, is serving up some corned beef today. A lot of joints, I'm sure, are going that route. Okay, stupid news. Man, I hate it when someone kills the vibe at the Boom Boom Room. There's nothing worse than some puke bag who wants to start trouble in a place that was built for nothing but fun. A night or two ago, a 39-year-old douchebag by the name of John Elberson was arrested for stealing lap dances. Stupid John, in case it matters to you one way or the other, Stupid John was in a stupid part of the United States. You know the spot. He was at an establishment called Rain Ladies and Gentlemen's Club, which is interesting. Josh, what were the names of the joints we had here in town years ago where they had naked men and women's? One of them, I believe, was called Buns and Bow Ties.
That's the only thing I could think of. Was there a Buns and Roses, or was it just Buns and Bow Ties? I remembered it as Buns and Roses, but maybe that wasn't here.
Yeah, I remember seeing Buns and Roses advertised in the back of like city pages and stuff, and back when they had like the adult ads.
Maybe it was both. It's a long time ago. I remember there was also one, if I'm not mistaken, and you folks in western Wisconsin, wasn't there one in Somerset that had both naked checks and naked dodes, depending on what side of the building you were seated in? We're at 651-989-9393, if you can remember the name of these joints that had a little bit of both. So anyway, Stupid John was drunk off his ass at Rain Ladies and Gentlemen's Club. It says here he received several lap dances. He did. But low-life moron that he is, he didn't have a dime on him. He owed $160. My strip joint arithmetic tells me that's 8 lap dances.
I forget. It's been a while. You don't pay ahead of time?
No.
You don't? Okay.
Maybe that's the way it was 30 years ago, but my memory has always been you wait till it's over.
They'd like to keep the transaction open-ended so that they can convince you to, hang up a little bit longer.
I suppose that's a good point, because if you see that $20 leave, you might think about it more.
And then all of a sudden you don't realize how fast these songs have gone by and how much just got piled up.
People are texting in Lamplighter, Loch Ness, Cajun Club. What I'm looking for is a strip joint that had both naked men and women. And I don't remember.
And you said it's usually separated?
Depends on what part of the building you're in.
Okay.
There was one in Minneapolis and one, I swear to God, in Somerset. I don't remember the Lamplighter and the Loch Ness having both. And we appreciate your efforts anyway. Someone else says it was called Ben's Bar. Mac Daddy's is another guess. I don't know. At the very least, we're naming some of these joints, and I'm sure it'll bring up some fond memories in somebody's world.
Someone asked if it was the Rendezvous in Somerset, and that really is intriguing to me because I used to play pool out of that bar in Pool League, and I always thought that it looked like it was a strip club in the past. It always has given me a strip club vibe.
If that's the joint, it's been so long, and anytime the one in Somerset, I was there a few times, and I was wildly intoxicated. I can't remember. Buns and bow ties, yeah, I think that was the one here in Minneapolis. We'll get back to you. Appreciate you texting in. So this John, stupid John, again, he sits down at a boom boom room. 8 lap dances were dumped upon him. He ain't got a dime. Cops stopped by, arrested stupid John. Now he's got to go to court for this.
Now, I know there's a joke in here, but it seems like at strip clubs, it's inflation-proof. It's been $20 for a strip, for a dance forever, for as long as I can remember.
Right.
From when I was 18 years old until today. It was always $20.
Unfortunately, though, Josh, what's changed is how long that $20 song is.
Oh, it's all radio edits. Well, maybe not because they have the swear words, but it's the shorter version, I'm sure.
Yeah, they go about halfway through, and then you're on to song 2. When I was a kid, you heard the whole song.
Now, I know there's another joke here, but then that would be shrinkflation. Same price, you're just getting less.
There you go. An old buddy of mine pulled that crap on us twice, where he was having the time of his life, and no one, and he didn't have any money. Once was at a strip joint downtown, and once was at a private bachelor party at somebody's house. He's getting lap dances all night long. Ass cheeks just knocking him in the jaw all night long, and then he tells us he doesn't have any money on him, and we had to bail the dumb bastard out. There was also a pal of mine who he didn't go out very often. He didn't know the rules and how things work. He paid $20 for a lap dance. So this was a long time ago. He agreed to a lap dance. And when the gal kept going beyond one song, he thought that was because he was special and she liked him. So after 7 dances in a row, he handed her a $20 bill. And when the gal said, "No, dude, you owe me for 7, he flipped out.
Oh, don't do that.
Well, that's the kind of guy he was and still is. He just flips
so
out.
Awkward.
He felt like he was being ripped off. He did not. I mean, he got thrown out the joint.
Good.
And we're the ones, his friends were the ones that had to walk up and say, "Dude, they're right. You owe them $140. It's not $20 until the girl, because the girl loves you. It's $20 every song." But he ended up getting thrown out. Some folks don't know.
We had an education before the first time we went. A friend's older brother told us everything about what to do and what not to do at a strip club. And that's one of the things he said. They don't like you. You're going to think that they like you, but they don't. So we were warned, and we were warned, it's per song. It's not like, it's like 2 for Tuesdays or anything like that. He gave us about what to order, everything.
Oh, that's a good.
I've never forgotten that. That's the only lesson in my high school days I remember.
It's a good one to remember.
The most popular answer here on our text machine, 651-989-9393, on the question, what was the name of that strip joint? I swear to God it was Somerset, where it had naked guys and naked girls. The most popular answer lately here is Ben and Archie's. But that's...
Is that 2 different places? Or is that like the name of it?
Ben and Archie's, yeah. That's one joint, according to... But yeah. How about...
I've only been... I'm sorry.
No, you've only been what?
You'd mentioned there's a dude that can ruin it, right? Everybody's had that experience. I've had that experience once where when I first started here, it seemed like the strip club is where you went every weekend. You know, that's where everybody went.
Sure.
And I was broke, so it sucked, right? And so there was one guy who I really looked up to. He was in town from Los Angeles, and he had buddies here. And he was like a cool-looking dude. He was a hilarious guy.
I remember this guy. I hated this friggin' guy.
I really looked up to him at first.
From the word go, I wanted to choke this guy to death.
Well, he was very cocky.
I hated him.
Very, very cocky, that's for sure. So I could see that turning people off.
I know the guy.
But he was so talented at audio production that I looked up to him. And I wanted to, and I was like, gosh, I'd love to learn those skills. So I really looked up to him. And we go to the strip club, and, the girls are giving him attention for the obvious reasons, but also he was a really good-looking guy.
No, he wasn't.
And he was. He looked like a rock star. So then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, he grabs a fire extinguisher and starts spraying it everywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, you're going to get us all killed, but I couldn't believe it. And after that, I just couldn't respect the guy.
He wasn't getting enough attention.
That's exactly it. And he, like I said, he was a cocky dude. He loved the attention.
I wanted to murder that guy 1 second into meeting him. I don't know how
I could see why.
I don't know how you ever liked the guy.
I don't know. I can put up with a lot, but that was enough. I couldn't do that anymore.
Wasn't getting enough attention. I have to do something to cause a scene because I'm a little child.
That sucked. That's one of the most embarrassed I've ever been for another person.
By the way, I was telling you about my pal who not only racked up a big bill at a strip joint without a dime in his pocket, but also racked up a massive bill at a private bachelor party. That was the night where he kept over and over again ordering from the girls. He kept ordering a Busch beer, if you know what I mean.
Oh, jeez.
Come on. What, you never been to a bachelor party, Dana, where they served Busch beer?
No, I don't think so.
Well, he kept ordering them over and over and over and over and over again.
Did it get funnier to him each time?
I think he got over the title pretty quickly, but then it was our problem at the end of the night that he had ordered 17 of these damn things. Some of you know what I'm talking about, the others do not. How about we see about some critters and wild animals and such here in today's Stupid News Report. We're going to start with a monkey on the loose in a place called Peru. Somebody's pet monkey broke loose. And instead of just, choking out some neighborhood dogs and throwing its turds at people like monkeys usually do when they go unsupervised, this here sumbitch monkey went on a crime spree. The cops got a telephone call about a monkey running across rooftops, swinging tree to tree, and tap dancing along power lines. The monkey was caught. It says here the little peckerhead is something called a black-caped or capped capuchin. Black-capped capuchin. Now, the monkey never admitted to a damn thing. But folks came forward and told the police that the monkey had broken into a few houses and busted up the property a little bit. And I'm not mad at the monkey. I started off mad at the monkey.
Oh, you did?
I did.
It doesn't know any better.
Well, here's what I read, and I'm sure you read the same thing. When the cops finally pinned him down, they saw that the monkey had marks around its waist as if he'd been tied up with a rope or a chain, and that ain't right in my book. So my guess is this effing monkey was purchased by some jag-off who keeps him chained up all day. If I was that monkey, I'd want to bust out too and F somebody or something up. That monkey never wanted to be somebody's chained-up pet.
That's terrible. You can see this monkey on 93x.com.
Pretty cute monkey.
Is he adorable?
He looks friendly.
A little, he looks like he could use a bath, that's for sure. I'll tell you, we've had garages broken into several times, cars several times, my house once. If it was a monkey, I think that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that makes everything better.
I'm assuming it's druggies or, teenagers maybe on the wrong side of the law, but a monkey would be less violating. But, hey, we've heard stories about monkeys throwing babies off of roofs and stuff like that, so this is nothing.
What are you doing, monkey?
Hey, Josh, people are texting in guessing this long-haired, arrogant DJ from Los Angeles back in the day was Tone E. Fly.
No.
That wasn't him.
No, Tony Fly's a good dude.
I met him once.
And this guy wasn't a DJ. He did audio production.
Oh, it was not Tone, T-O-N, E. Fly. I wonder what he's up to nowadays. I met him years ago.
I think he's got a big show on Sirius or something. We worked with him for a short amount of time.
We did?
Yeah, he worked over at 105, our sister station.
I met him once. This monkey, by the way, was handcuffed and taken to a neighborhood zoo. And hopefully he stays there and can make friends with some other monkeys or find himself a lady. Hopefully he doesn't have to go back and live with some whack-bag who chains him to a wall. Because that's the kind of thing, I think, that's causing so many monkeys to turn on us. Like Josh was saying, monkey gangs will come running out the jungle in, Biafra, and grab babies and throw them off of rooftops and choke dogs to death. That's why so many of them are turning on us, because so many people treat them so badly. That's my theory.
Karma.
Babies off of rooftops.
Yeah.
Tough to come back from that.
Come on.
The first time I ever saw that, I thought, no, they're making this up. There's no way this ever happened, but more stories about these pissed monkeys that hate babies.
That's not good.
I picture them throwing the baby like a football.
Or just like it's a contest. Who can throw the baby the furthest? Who can bounce the baby the highest? That's terrible.
Proper shot put positioning.
I wish I never would have seen this story, because now I have to blow up again. And I don't know, maybe I won't be sorry that I blew up this time. Josh knows that oftentimes I'm sorry that I blow up. I don't know.
There's been times where you apologize for blowing up and you didn't even blow up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
Because you'll say, sorry I blew up, but you didn't blow up.
Thanks for pointing that out. Holler at me next time I apologize for blowing up whenever. Social media, what a disaster. The nastiness and the misinformation is astonishing. Truly mind-blowing. Laughable how inaccurate it can be. And then there's the so-called influencers. They'll do anything. And they feel they're entitled to anything. Because the idea of a, quote, viral video is the most important thing in the world. Nothing and no one else matters. Check out this character right here. This one had me pissed off. I don't know, maybe the last couple of weeks has put me in a sour mood. A gal who claims to be an American hunting influencer, and it's embarrassing that she's one of ours. She made a stupid video recently. She was in Australia in the middle of the night, in the woods, summers. She hops out of a car and she snatches a wild baby wombat away from its mother.
I hate this girl.
Wombat. Look at the mother. It's like, oh, it's chasing after her.
I caught the baby wombat. Okay, Mama's right there. Let's let him go.
Did it sound to you like the guy was acting a little bit? It did to me.
I don't know.
Like he was faking his enthusiasm.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like he wasn't as excited about what he was watching.
He knows he's making a video for the internet and he's kind of going for it.
A wombat's kind of a little, I don't know, kind of looks like a little bear, doesn't it?
It's adorable.
They're cute. This gal's name is Sam or something. In the video, she goes running across the street holding a screeching baby wombat. And that noise you heard, that was the wombat screaming for its mother. She eventually puts the baby back in the general area where she picked it up. Nobody's sure if the baby was ever reunited with its mother.
I could barely watch this.
Sometimes the animals get so freaked out. I mean, the mom might have been so freaked out she runs away. And I don't. Australians went nuts over what she did, demanding that this gal be deported. Dummy took the video down. You know, wildlife experts are saying taking a baby animal from its mother or from its home is distressing. An animal can die of that kind of stress. It's illegal to move or harm any native wildlife in Australia without a permit. So look, I mean, was this the worst thing in the world? No. But here's what I was taught. Real outdoor folks have respect for their surroundings. Real hunters, real fishermen have respect and an appreciation for the environment that they hunt and fish in. You don't go messing with baby animals for no good reason. This gal was disrespectful. She was reckless. This was entitlement at its highest level.
That's why she's ugly.
Oh, man. I like pregnant, feisty Ashley.
How are you going to do that?
That's just Ashley.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just how are you going to do that?
No.
I hate her so much.
I know you do. I knew you would. No, but just hang on to something, Ashley, because I read some comments from this gal, and she pulled a classic bit to defend herself. She pointed out how wombats are killed for food in Australia, and she told dramatic stories about how other animals are treated poorly and killed in Australia. So it was that classic bit where when you're caught doing something wrong, you point out things that you feel are worse by comparison to try and squash the significance of your actions, which is a good one. But that's not how it works. If I steal your car, Josh, I can't use, well, you know, a guy down the street stabbed his wife to death. I can't use that as an excuse.
That is one of my favorite things that people do, especially when it's even more aggressive than that. Like, hey, I didn't start the Holocaust. Well,
right.
I'm not going to argue with you. You're right. That is worse.
You point out something that you feel is way worse to dummy down the significance of your wrongdoing.
And you have to say it as if the other person is ridiculous because they assume that's as bad as you starting the Holocaust.
Right.
I do love that very much.
Sorry, Josh, I stole your car, but, you know, a dude down the street, he stabbed his wife to death. So, I mean, me stealing your car, is it really that big of a deal if I compare? That's not how this works. I like how the president of Australia, or whatever they do over there, this guy's funny. I read a quote. He did not like this lady. And he made a funny quote where he said something like, oh, you want to pick on the animals in Australia, huh? Why don't you go try and get a crocodile away from its mother? See how that works for you. Put that on video, he said. The president of Australia basically said, F around and find out.
Yeah, they kicked her right out of the country.
That's
People
awesome.
were cheering it. Gamer Jesus said wombats make cube-shaped turds.
Oh.
And they block the entrance to their dens with their caked-up cheeks. Is that right?
No way.
Wow.
And Mopar Dad Jesus said, you know, influencers. Back in our day, we used to call them whores.
Cube-shaped feces.
Yeah, I have questions about this. How? Is it shaped like that?
That's kind of like a Play-Doh thing. It must be, you know?
Give me a week. Josh, give me a week. I bet I can do that.
Can you really?
Yep.
That'd be pretty
Who
cool.
wants to bet me?
These things are absolutely
In
adorable.
1 week's time, I bet I can produce for you a perfectly square. Dana, can I borrow some of your Legos?
Yes, of course.
Oh, God. In Memphis, Tennessee, a couple dudes were able to rob a truck stop by waving live pythons around the store. What is this, an old Jerky Boys bit or something? What are you talking about?
That's the thing. I think I'd more laugh than anything. Like, are you guys serious?
You're watching some 80s wrestling and got inspired by Jake the Snake Roberts?
I saw the video. Dude walks in the truck stop. You know, they got a cash register or whatever. You know, you buy a hat, you buy a bowl of chili. Whatever. Dude just starts waving around the snake.
This is up on 93x.com, too.
And it's such a today thing for young people where one of the kids that's involved in this is just on his phone. He's distracted by his phone.
Yep.
He can't even commit to a robbery.
Yeah, you got to check Snapchat. Employees inside this truck stop said that they felt threatened. They say at least 4 people came into the gas station, and between the 4 of them, they had 2 pythons. The dudes with pythons stole around $400 worth of CBD oil. What is that again? What is CBD oil? What does that do for you?
I don't even exactly sure. I know it's somehow tied to marijuana.
Fair enough. One of the guys working at the counter at the truck stop is a feller called Mayur Raval. He said he and his brother were working at the time, and it scared the hell out of him. He said they were waving them around and putting them on the counter.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, some people have such a fear of snakes that I hadn't considered that, because luckily I don't.
Oh.
If they had spiders, I might have called the cops as I was running out of the store.
If I had myself a fat-ass tarantula in my hand, would you hand your wallet over, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
He's going to get you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love snakes.
The biggest, toughest guy I know, I saw him run from a tiny little snake once.
Yeah.
I would have been very distracted. I love them. I think they're so cool.
Snakes, I do too.
Yep.
Well, this gimmick worked. The weirdest truck stop thieves in all of the state of Tennessee got away with their crime. The cops are still looking for them. This is possibly a Memphis, Tennessee thing. Last year, a guy was arrested after he allegedly tried to rob a gas station with a snake. Dude had a 5-foot snake wrapped around his neck, and he demanded cash from the register. At least in this case, the clerk said, no. So she wasn't intimidated by a snake wrapped around somebody's neck. I don't like snakes very much, but you'd have to do a hell of a lot more than just show me one in order for me to turn my money over to you.
Yeah,
my personal money, or if I was working at cash register.
Can you train an attack snake?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe if they were like spinning it around their head like a lasso, then I would be slightly scared.
But still, if you throw it at me, I'll just bat it out of the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Just walk away.
I don't just move a little to the left or right.
What are you going to do?
Biological Jesus on square turds. Wombats make cube-shaped poop so they can stack it without them rolling.
I'll be damned.
Very interesting.
And you said that they push their dirty asses towards the entrance of their little hideout so predators don't show up.
Well, he said they use their cakes. So to me, isn't that butt?
Yeah, their asses. But he meant dirty. It doesn't matter. You got time for one more?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah. This could be fun for some of you. Take a wild guess where this happened. A cop had to walk a pizza the last few hundred feet to where it was meant to be delivered because there was a big fat-ass alligator in the driveway, and the delivery driver wanted nothing to do with it.
Ma'am, get back over there. There's an alligator right under your car.
Oh, my lordy.
Get in the house.
Where's my pizza?
I'll take it to the back door. Here's your pizza.
She's very demanding.
I love that.
Like a 1,000-year-old lady. Oh, my lordy, where's my pizza? Keep your pants on, Grandma.
We're a little busy right now.
There's a
come and get it.
Yeah, 8-foot alligator hanging out under a parked car in this old lady's driveway. She ordered a pie, and she wasn't looking to wait for that pie. But the cop was just kind of, what the hell was he doing there? Oh, the cop shows up. He's just keeping an eye on the alligator, right? Waiting for the fish and wildlife folks to show up and harpoon this damn thing. And then here comes the pizza delivery gal with a pie meant for the house with the gator in the driveway. The officer tells the delivery gal, you can probably go around back to deliver that food, but she says, F that noise. And she asks him to do it, and he did. You heard the audio there where he had to kind of holler at the old lady, don't be coming out the front door. I'll meet you at the back. Eventually, the cops handed her pizza. And then she asked him, well, how much do I owe you? I don't know. I'm a cop. I'm not the pizza delivery person. Eventually, trappers got there, and they beat and they ridiculed and they apprehended the alligator. Reason number 10 million not to live in friggin' that state that you know what I'm talking about.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
The things that tweak, they never look good on a man. You know, they never do.
Talking about a facelift?
Yes, never looks good on a man. So I strongly urge all men out there, don't do it.
Plastic surgeons around America are screaming at you right now.
It doesn't look good on men for some reason. It doesn't.
Keith Hernandez there. He's a color commentator for the New York Metropolitans Major League Baseball team. During a spring training game here a day or two ago, he said that facelifts on men are not a good look, which I disagree with, Josh. I think yours turned out wonderful.
Well, I have a really good surgeon.
It solved your resting bitch face. For many years, you suffered from resting bitch face where you would look upset despite being completely content.
Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm content, but I have had people say, what's the matter, dude? What happened?
Since the operation, now you look kind of permanently like you're faking a smile.
Yeah, people say I kind of have Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker now. That's the face I have.
I think you look good with your fake or your facelift is how you say it.
It's not always great, though, Nick. Sometimes I'm very disappointed in a person, but they think I'm fine with them because I'm smiling.
Can't express it.
I can't be good at funerals either.
Yeah, somebody tells me some terrible news.
Yeah.
God, he's an insensitive prick.
Mm-hmm. Me and the wife went to the Timberwell last night.
Oh, fun. How was that?
Yeah, we had a fine time, a wonderful time. 50 Cent was there.
How's he now?
That's sweet. Oh, yeah. How's he look?
Did you guys know that?
No.
That 50 Cent was at the game? He looks like a healthy middle-aged man at this point in his life. My wife she was very excited to see 50 Cent. She said that mature women like herself love 50 Cent and someone called Flo Rida.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if my wife is into Flo Rida or not, but she loves 50 Cent. She's a fan.
He was
and
setting...
Ludacris.
I love Ludacris.
Ludacris is how you say it.
Yeah.
Okay. He was sitting courtside having a good time. Anthony Edwards, 41 points last night. Timberwolves had a fairly easy time with the Utah Jazz. They play again tonight. The Man-Bear Pigs struggling like hell. They play tonight against a tough Los Angeles Kings club, 7 o'clock at the X. And, okay, they've sorted out everyone who's playing everyone. They've sorted out who's playing who for this year's men's NCAA basketball tournament. And they're set to begin games tomorrow night. I have a bracket in front of me. I had an idea real quick. You guys tell me what you think. We can run it by Dinkus and other Dinkus here in about a half hour. I don't think we should fill out brackets, the 4, 5, 6 of us. But I think we should have our significant others fill out brackets, and then we compete that way. So if our significant others fail, we can tear them to shreds live on the radio for their bad picks, and then the loser buys everyone beers and dinner or something like that.
I love this
That
idea.
sounds like a lot of fun.
Do you like the idea?
I have some hope.
Because
for me, then.
my wife has never watched a game of basketball in her life by design.
Then she'll win.
Exactly, I know.
What do you mean your wife?
My fiancé.
All right, for a second there, I thought we were breaking some kind of scandal.
I hate that word, fiancé, so I'm looking forward to getting married for a lot of reasons.
Your fiancé knows,
say it.
she knows nothing about basketball?
Absolutely nothing about basketball.
Well, neither did Curtis, my pal Curtis, 15 years ago when he won like $500. Josh, would your wife be cool filling out a bracket to represent you? And then if she sucks at it, we make fun of her on the radio.
Yeah, sure. She watches basketball. She watches a lot of Timberwolves games. So
Timberwolves.
She might be.
Well, this is college now.
Yeah, I understand how it works. I won last year, and you guys all welched. Nobody paid me.
Oh, I didn't.
Nobody paid me after last year.
What kind of bet did we have?
I don't remember. Was it $50 each?
$50?
I don't even remember doing that. I had 2 brackets, and they were not. Neither of them were with this station.
No wonder I never gave you any money. That's pretty steep right there.
I didn't come up with it.
I completely forgot.
We competed against each other?
Yeah, the whole show filled one
Jesus Christ, I don't remember anything about that. $50 coming up. Josh's news report also is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless ductless system, or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with standard heating and air conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid-fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debates.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
I came up with a wash for Walmart, so everybody who's here in the courtroom today is going to be doing community service, washing cars. So the people that actually go to Walmart and pay for their goods, they are going to get a free car wash to the people that think it's a good idea to go there and steal.
Not so fast, do-gooder. You may remember the Michigan judge who had a bold idea, make Walmart shoplifters pay by scrubbing cars. But just as the suds of justice started flowing, his plan got a kink in it. A few months into his tenure, the innovative adjudicator thought that free car washes would serve the community and maybe stop sticky fingers at the retail giant. However, the chief judge was not convinced. He pulled the plug, saying the plan should have been cleared by him and other court officials first. This is especially true when the proposed alternative punishment deviates from the usual and accepted methods, the chief judge said Friday. Walmart washes will not be taking place as reported, he said. Just like that, the creative punishment went kaput. The rookie judge made headlines last month by ordering 75 to 100 shoplifters to grab sponges and get to work this coming spring. Local store managers were on board, but Walmart's Arkansas headquarters was not. They shut it down, saying they didn't want car washes happening on store property. The judge isn't ready to toss in the towel just yet, though. I'm frustrated, he admitted. I was still going to try and come up with a creative way to solve this problem. I had 37 new Walmart theft offenses 2 days ago. In the last month, it's been well over 100, the judge said. Despite that setback, nearly 30 judges across Michigan were ready to join the Bucket Brigade, but now they'll need a new plan.
Well, that's a damn shame when a creative idea goes to waste like that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever.
I had to do something similar when I was a kid. I had to go pull weeds at a movie theater. Me and my buddies did.
What did you do wrong to earn that?
Ordered by a judge?
No, it was in exchange for them not calling the cops on us. We had to go do manual labor. We were seeing Coyote Ugly. I'll never forget it because we didn't get to see the end of it. Because
that's a great movie.
It is.
Yep.
But before the movie, we found a birthday party room, and it had a bunch of pinatas in it. And we were like, well, pinatas, the goal is to break them, so we smashed up all the pinatas.
Just ruined some kid's birthday.
I'm picturing a little kid crying.
That did not cross our mind at the time.
Yeah, you were young.
One of my favorite movies ever, Josh, is Coyote Ugly. I've probably seen it 5 or 6 times, and if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you the plot.
Understandable.
But I love that movie.
That movie made me want to be a bartender.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Get up on the bar and dance and stuff?
For me, it was Cocktail.
Cocktail? Never saw it.
After repeatedly slipping through the fingers of law enforcement, 2 teenage boys have finally been arrested, suspected of pulling off more than 30 crimes in Edina just this year. According to police, their rap sheet is a busy one. 9 stolen vehicles, 4 burglaries, 16 cases of theft or vehicle tampering, and 3 high-speed getaways from authorities. One of the teenagers was given a winter holiday pass from a northern Minnesota detention facility to travel to the Twin Cities, but never returned. Most of the crimes occurred from January to early March, but the 17-year-olds also are suspects in a vehicle theft last summer. In response, police are reminding residents to keep your property like a 1985 album from the rock band Dokken under lock and key.
Even though these 2 teenagers have been caught, Edina police are asking residents to lock around the clock, meaning lock all the doors on your house and car, and make sure you don't leave any valuables or garage door openers in your car as well.
Can we get these kids to wash cars at Walmart?
Maybe that's something they can consider.
Mm-hmm.
Both were charged last week in Hennepin County District Court with felonies and remained in custody as of Friday afternoon. A clerk at a Stillwater gas station called police in October after spotting a 75-year-old woman feeding $20 bills, one after the other, into a cryptocurrency ATM. This after a scammer told her she owed $20,000 overpayment to her PayPal account and needed to withdraw cash to fix it. By the time officers arrived, she deposited $5,820 and was about to put in another $14,000 after a scammer told her that she owed that overpayment.
Jesus criminy.
I never thought it would happen to us. She's humiliated, she's embarrassed, she's doubting her choices, and she's a sound woman. She's bright, and so it's heartbreaking.
Scammers are using AI to impersonate loved ones, threaten victims, and trick them into withdrawing money. Since January of 2023, Stillwater police have handled 31 crypto-related scam reports, totaling about $213,000, with at least half going into local cryptocurrencies ATMs.
That's a real thing, a cryptocurrency ATM?
Yeah. Well, for now, officials say banning the machines is a necessity to help protect residents from the increasingly sophisticated schemes.
I saw one at a liquor store recently, a crypto ATM.
Really?
This guy seems like a bad mix right here.
Yes.
I've never spotted one. For a second there, I thought that was part of the scam.
That it's just somebody...
Somebody made that up.
Somebody's hiding inside, just taking the money. A Tennessee man's drug habit and Butterfingers turned an ordinary school drop-off into an unexpected police incident where meth, not math, stole the spotlight. Last Tuesday, an employee at North Lafayette Elementary noticed a plastic baggie near the main entrance. Not exactly standard school supplies, the suspicious item was quickly handed over to the school resource officer who called the cops. Field tests confirmed the substance was methamphetamine, courtesy of Connor McCulley of Chattanooga. Security footage showed McCulley unknowingly fumbling the baggie while pulling out his phone.
Officers began reviewing security camera footage and found a suspect accidentally dropping the bag out of his pocket when he tried to grab his cell phone. They tracked down his vehicle and determined he was on campus dropping off his girlfriend's kid.
He's facing charges of possession of meth, possession of a controlled substance on a school campus, and reckless conduct.
Where's my meth, he says, right?
Wouldn't that be embarrassing?
I dropped my meth.
Oh, crap. Did I leave it in the school?
A tossed chicken bone at a South Seattle Safeway got real shooty last week. According to police, two people were enjoying cheap chicken Monday in their car when one of them casually flicked a chicken bone out the window. The jettisoned bone hit a woman's parked car, and the entire neighborhood soon learned she really doesn't like chuck chicken.
She opens up the car and steps onto some chicken, and she's like, what the why is there chicken on the ground? And she looks over at me and it's like, are you serious, man? You're throwing chicken onto the ground? And I'm like, who cares? Leave me alone. F off.
Now furious, the woman got out, unleashed some loud potty words, armed herself with a pair of scissors, and went after the man's tires.
Oh.
Then he snapped. The man tackled her to the ground, had to be pulled off by a security guard who told him to back off, which he did. The man called 911, but the woman had other plans. She pulled a gun, aimed it at his head, then lowered the barrel and shot him right in the thigh, which is the gateway to the penis.
You stepped out on some chicken and you got mad at me and started throwing some.
Let go. Gun!
Witnesses said he dropped, dragging her down with him as they struggled for control of the weapon. According to police reports, she reached for it, threatening to fire again, but he wrestled it away, only to be ambushed by her girlfriend.
I was in the military. I never got shot, but I get shot in Safeway over some chicken.
This escalated so fast.
Oh my God. Eventually, both women made a break for it, speeding off just as police arrived.
What are you doing?
That's one way to ruin cheap chicken night.
Yeah, folks, they run hot.
What are you doing?
A California neighborhood's on edge after someone shot more than 100 birds.
I think the whole block and neighborhood is feeling pretty freaked out about it. You know, it's crows, but how long until it escalates to pets and children, or maybe the rest of us, or perhaps a bullet ricochets off of something?
The Los Angeles Police Department is investigating a mass murder of crows in a string of bird shootings, which has terrified residents who say they're dodging bullets. The latest attack came Saturday when a shooter targeted a murder of crows, killing 3, injuring another. Neighbors say no one ever knows when the next round of shots will come.
It's pop, 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 pop. Sometimes you hear a pew as it goes over your head. I was out here with a neighbor the other day. She was walking her dog, and she ducked because she heard the noise come from above.
These shootings date back to before the pandemic, escalating since then.
It was just a rampage. There were 14, 15 birds. They were falling everywhere. The kids were screaming. We rushed everybody inside.
The California Department of Fish and Wildlife got involved after 2 federally protected hawks were killed. But the shooter remains a mystery, as does their motive.
I like her.
Yeah,
pop, 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 pop.
She's got a lot of personality, and she's good at sound effects. Shopping for the perfect orgasm-inducing dildo with a G-spot attachment might be the most unexpected way to cheat death. An adult gift shop in Minneapolis' Lynn Lake neighborhood became an unlikely hero, credited with saving a woman's life right outside its doors last week. Employees of Smitten Kitten jumped into action Thursday, administering Narcan, a life-saving medication which rapidly reverses opioid overdoses, that to a woman ODing in her car outside their store. They knocked on her windows, but she wasn't alert, and her chest wasn't moving, the owner said. They checked her pulse, but nothing. So they suspected an overdose, giving her Narcan that they keep in the store for situations just like this.
And I immediately suspected that we needed to do Narcan, so I hollered to my staff to go get our supply that we keep here at the store, and we started administering Narcan like we had been trained to do by Southside Harm Reduction, a local resource.
They revived and stabilized the woman until paramedics arrived. The owner was quick to note the fast-thinking and empathetic actions of her staff for the positive outcome.
Oh, how about that, huh?
In loosely related news, a giant beaver could become Minnesota's official state fossil this year. One of only 4 states without a designated state fossil.
Jesus, what have we been doing all these years?
I know. I was so disappointed.
That's embarrassing.
To this information I lived my whole life without knowing. Minnesota could change that status this year, and what better candidate than a beaver even bigger than your mom's? I'm sorry about that. The giant beaver, which roamed North America before going extinct about 10,000 years ago, dwarfed its modern relatives.
They were like the size of a house.
They were huge, 7 feet long, tipped the scales around 200 pounds. Today's beavers, by comparison, max out about 4 feet and 66 lbs. Not only was the great beaver the largest rodent in North America, it also coexisted with the first human settlers in Minnesota. Some folklore even suggests early people may have had personal encounters with these oversized dam builders. The bill was laid over by the committee on Thursday for possible inclusion in a larger collection of bills to be approved later in the legislative session.
I'm not doing good over here, you guys. I looked up giant beaver, of course, because I want to see, and the regular search, you can see a lot of them. It's cool. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to click images. Don't click images. That was messed up.
Bad call.
My God.
There was a water park in Burnsville that shut down when I was about 5th grade, and it was a bummer because we loved this water park, and it randomly crossed my mind the other day. I'm like, what was the name of that place? That water park in Burnsville. Then it hit me. It's called Beaver Mountain. So not only was I bummed that it closed as a kid, but I now realize how many jokes we missed out on had that been, open through high school and college.
I'm sure a lot of jokes were made.
Beaver Mountain.
The bigger, the better.
Just got harder to get a hand job in New Prague. A local massage parlor found itself at the center of a police raid last week after a 2-year investigation into allegations staff were offering sexual services to clients.
Yeah.
Authorities executed a search warrant looking for evidence ranging from transaction records and service logs to condoms, sexual paraphernalia, towels, and bed sheets.
Oh, they got to
towel things
sort
up.
through the sheets and whatnot. Yeah, what happened?
The case dates back to December of 2022 when a man reported during a visit a masseuse non-verbally offered him a sex act. An offer he claims he refused.
What?
2 years and a lot of Lake Street handshakes later, another tip surfaced, this time linking the massage place to escort service ad using the same phone number as the address. By early this year, more reports rolled in. 3 men told police the women working at the business offered them sex. Investigators also discovered 2 suspected hidden cameras in the ceiling, allegedly recording illicit activity. Following the raid, a 49-year-old woman, believed to be the owner, was taken into custody.
Oh, I better get some if I'm going all the way to New Prague.
That's a long way to drive for a hand job.
Yeah.
But I hear you. You want it to be worth your while. 93X, Holiday Station Stores, and Red Wing Shoes have teamed up for free gas for a year. Your first opportunity to win is just about an hour and a half away. Listen for your keyword at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. weekdays for a shot at $93 in free gas. Then everyone who wins is qualified for the grand prize, free gas for a year. Check out 93x.com. Click on the free gas icon for info.
Birthdays.
Professional wrestling fan Billy Corgan is 58 today. Rob Lowe, 61. Gary Sinise, 70. And Kurt Russell turns 74. Our best to Asian cop Jesus and family, whose beloved dog Kingston passed away Saturday after 15 faithful and loving years. He was a very good boy.
Sorry about your bubby.
And a happy birthday to my high school friend Chris, who I once saw throw up about 3 gallons of cherry Coke at a Perkins restaurant out of spite. He angry drank the cherry Coke and barfed it everywhere.
That's awesome.
Happy birthday, Chris. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
There's always something new with him. He's an embarrassment to himself. This guy's he comes around this community. He thinks he runs in here.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Bounces back to the line. In the slot. And Ovechkin scores! Alexander Ovechkin. He's now 7 away from tying Wayne Gretzky.
I hear you. Yeah, Alex Ovechkin is now, you heard the announcer say, 7 away from tying Wayne Gretzky. He's 8 goals away from the all-time mark. He got a legit goal with a goaltender present Saturday night in San Jose. So the record is 894. He's at 887. The Caps play tomorrow night at home against Detroit. Good morning and happy St. Patrick's Day, laddies. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder.
Good morning.
Good morning.
St. Patrick's Day, does it mean anything to you?
Not at all.
Means that it's the middle of March. That's all it means.
Neither you are big.
Not Irish.
You're not big drinkers, either one of you, are you?
Used to be, not anymore.
Yeah? What do you mean used to be?
Oh, back in my college days.
Oh,
sure.
Did you used to?
But then you didn't need St. Patrick's Day as an excuse.
No, hell no. It just had to be Wednesday.
Or a day with Y.
Pretty much.
Did you count them, Randy Shaver? How many nights did you count them? And then the next day you tell your bros, I had 27 beers last night.
I never. No, we always drank pitchers of beer, so I didn't have to. Was always sharing a pitcher of beer with someone.
You didn't go for the cans or the bottles?
No, not. It was too expensive. The pitchers were way cheaper.
Yeah, nickel beer night over there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What about the food? Do you like the food?
You mean on St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day.
Not really.
Brad Ryder, you're not going to wipe out a plate of corned beef and cabbage tonight?
No,
I don't think so.
Oopsies. Looks like we played some licensed music on the show. You see, as a radio station, we're not allowed to play music for some reason. Hashtag so stupid. By now, our podcast guy has already removed the music we're for some reason not allowed to play, so let's get back to the show.
What about the music? Do you like the music?
Brad loves Dropkick Murphys.
I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more.
That sounds like Brad.
My mother liked that song when it came out because I think those two goofy-looking twin brothers were Irish. So, my mother's side of the family is very Irish.
I used to walk 500 miles to school every day.
They never let you forget that they're Irish.
In a blizzard.
She liked these goofy bastards. I had nightmares the first time I saw these guys on television. The Proclaimers, were they Irish, Josh?
They sure came across that way, I believe.
Going home to me.
They're Scottish.
Well, my mom had her head up her ass then.
Everybody thinks they're Irish.
Just to be the man.
I love this song.
Nobody loves this song.
It's so bad.
Put me in such a good mood immediately.
Just terrible.
Nick, I'm looking at pictures of these guys, and you're right. They've got some deep, dark secrets.
Oh, it was these guys and The Shining. The twins that have given me the... You put these guys in the same hallway as those twin girls from The Shining, I'm running for my friggin' life. They weren't even Irish, and my mom was dancing around the house half drunk to this crap back in 91.
I think everybody was.
There's a show called How I Met Your Mother where... This cassette tape got stuck in a car during a road trip, and it was the only song, and it would play it on a loop. And they were driving from New York to Minnesota. You can imagine how maddening that would get. Like they couldn't turn it down. They couldn't take it out. It was just stuck that way.
That was the only song they were able to listen to?
Yeah.
That could drive somebody nuts.
All right. So neither Randy Shaver nor Brad Ryder are going to be doing backflips in the streets today. for St. Patrick's Day. The St. Paul Parade starts at noon.
Happy for him.
Yeah. Well, just avoid St. Paul around noon then, I guess, is what you're saying.
Or just avoid St. Paul.
Could just avoid it altogether, Dana says.
I love St. Paul.
Takes a lot of balls to say something like that.
I enjoy St. Paul as well.
Do you know what I just remembered? It dawned on me, Nick, this is going to drive you crazy. So when St. Patrick's Day falls on a Monday or Tuesday,
is this going to be a fact about that racing movie that you like? What's that racing movie?
Fast and Furious.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, like everybody always celebrates the weekend before. And I remember the Saturday night before St. Patrick's Day, kids in college would call it St. Practice Day.
What? I'd never heard that.
Stupid.
I know. But we thought we were cool.
Trades worker Jesus says Peter Griffin sings that song way better than the Proclaimers.
Yes.
Peter Griffin sings most songs better than...
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard him cover some Lionel Richie now and again. Okay. People will be urinating in the streets shortly in St. Paul, loading up for the parade. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Staying with...
How different is that than a normal Monday?
Boy, you and Dana really don't like St. Paul.
I guess. Wow.
What's going on, Brad? Dana.
Kidding.
The Man Bear Pigs are struggling like hell. They've lost 7 of their last 10 hockey games. The St. Louis Blues stomped a mud hole in them Saturday night and then walked it dry. And now the tough L.A. Kings Hockey Club is rolling into town tonight for a 7 o'clock game at the Speaking of St. Paul. Oh,
that'll be a busy night tonight.
That just occurred to me. My God, is it going to be a mess by the time that hockey game starts?
It'll be, for sure.
It's going to be a mess down there. I wonder how many tough sumbitches are going to belly up around noon and still try to be functioning adults for this 7 o'clock game against the Kings. If you're not going down to the rink, the game is going to be televised on that FanDuel setup. So the boys are really having a tough time.
Yep.
In the old days, when a club was in a rut like this, you call up all the cement heads from Medicine Hat and you start a violent brawl at center ice to begin the game, and hopefully you just intimidate the other team into handing you a win. We'll see how it plays out tonight, by God.
Having said that, though, they are still in a fairly comfortable position in the wild card. I mean, they still are 6 points ahead of St. Louis for that final wild card spot. So it's not like they're having to win every single night or watching the scoreboard to see what other teams are doing.
No.
They control their own destiny. All they got to do is figure out a way to at least play 500 hockey here to finish it out, and they should be okay.
Well, they just so desperately need Brodin and Eck, and especially the Russian kid back in the mix.
They definitely need to get
having
healthy, for sure.
Horrible time trying to score goals. What's the most amount of goals they've scored in the last 3-4 games? 2?
I don't know the total, but I know it's not been good.
I know you probably don't need 2.
You've gradually gone, though, now from a spot where most of the season you had home ice in the first round to now you're going to be playing probably the top seed in the first round.
I do know that about a month ago their goal differential was in a positive number. Now it's a minus 10. So it's a struggle.
All right. Listeners are wondering, Brad and Dana, did you guys get sucker punched in St. Paul or something? Did you guys have a Maple Lake night, but yet, like I did, but yet it was in St. Paul?
I guess I've always just lived in Minneapolis. I've always just taken that side and like to give my friends crap who live in St. Paul. It's like, are you going to send a helicopter for me to get there?
I grew up my first 24 years in Minneapolis, and I'm on St. Paul's side.
Heck yeah, Josh. Team St. Paul.
Brad, did somebody kick your ass on the streets of St. Paul?
Probably, but I'm not going to put myself in a position to do that.
No. I'm not saying.
Have they? No.
Yeah, not will someone kick your ass on the streets of St. Paul?
Probably.
In the past. It's a past tense question.
No.
Okay.
Say I'm 56. I'm sure somebody could at this point.
The Minnesota Frost Ladies Hockey Club and the New York Sirens played last night, and 14,288 folks came out to see the game in New York. Is that where they played the game?
I think that's what it said.
No, Michigan? Oh, for God's sake.
Let me look.
I thought I wrote it down, and I must have forgot. Wherever the hell they played, it was the biggest crowd ever to watch a women's hockey game in the United States. If you remember, the Frost and a club from Montreal played in Denver a couple months ago and set the record. This game from last night broke the record. And I swear to God, I had the location written down, and I forgot.
Little Caesars Arena.
That's Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, they were playing New York.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes, they're playing New York. Ladies hockey gaining steam every day that goes by. What do you think of this? You boys both have sons.
Mm-hmm.
A New York pro hockey team's general manager traded his own son for, quote, future considerations.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Ouch.
Not for another player, like another significant player. Well, yeah, I'll trade the kid for whatever comes down the road here in a month or two. Future.
That's kind of like for a bag of balls and a baseball bat or something.
What league was this again?
Brad Ryder, this was the Utica Comets, some lower league. They are an affiliate to the New Jersey Devils, American Hockey League affiliate to the New Jersey Devils. The boss over there is a feller by the name of Dan McKinnon. His son, Will, was a defenseman on that club, the Utica Comets, until he traded him for future consideration.
I wonder what Dan's boss had to say about that.
Well, Dan doesn't have
Mrs. McKinnon.
Oh.
You son of a bitch.
You did what?
They're a hockey family. I'm guessing they understand it's a business. But it kind of reminds me of Fran McCaffery over there, head coach of the damned Iowegian college basketball team. One of his sons upped and entered the transfer portal last year.
He did.
Last year. Want to play for Dad next year? Nah.
Yeah.
I'm going to enter the transfer portal. I thought that was a cold-ass move, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Not quite the same, but my dad was the freshman baseball coach at my high school. And I had played a year or two of Little League, and the football coaches were all encouraging everybody to play a sport every single season. So I said, Dad, I'm going to come up for the baseball team. He goes, just do track. Just do track. It'll be easier for everybody.
Ouch.
I don't want to have to cut you in front of your friends.
Right. Or I don't have to put you on the team because he was like, you're a good enough athlete. You should probably make the team, but it'll look like I just put you on because you're my kid. So just go run track.
It's pretty funny. I was sitting next to a dad at one of my son's basketball games, and his son was not having a good game. And usually he was pretty decent. And the dad was hilarious. He was running through all the other things he might be better at basketball. Maybe he should get into chess. Maybe he should learn an instrument. I mean, he kept going and going and going. He was so disappointed.
Join the marching band. One of our listeners, Josh, got the wheels beat off of him in Pine City.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Probably by some. Maybe he's a Rush City guy, right? That rival.
Yeah, right.
He runs deep.
Where'd you get your ass kicked? 651-989-9393. You know my answer is Maple Lake. We got one listener who got his ass kicked in Pine City. The University of Minnesota Women's Hockey Club is cruising on to the NCAA Frozen Four for the second time in 3 years. They beat Colgate Saturday afternoon here in town. So now the Lady Gophers will meet the #1 Wisconsin club Saturday. And that's here in town also at Ritter Arena. Wisco beat Clarkson in the quarterfinal. The Frozen Four. All right. Speaking of tournaments, we know who's playing who and when and where for the upcoming NCAA basketball tournament.
Yep.
Are you pumped?
Yeah, excited.
Excited. I haven't looked at the brackets yet. Probably will a little later today.
I took one quick peek at it.
Yeah.
So could either one of you say that anything's grabbing you right from the get-go?
Well, I mean, I think that for Gopher fans, I'm going to pay attention certainly to Colorado State and Nico Medved, who may possibly be the next Gopher coach. If he were to lose this week, that, and if he is the guy, that announcement could come as early as this weekend. I know that there's a deadline a week from today. The transfer portal opens for college basketball, I believe, on the 24th. And so it would be very important for the Gopher basketball team to get a coach in place prior to that.
I know you've probably talked about him on other shows when I haven't been on, but Nico goes way. I go way back with Nico.
Right,
Nico,
he wasn't
he was a student manager.
Yeah.
Under Clem Haskins when I worked over at the university in the early '90s and mid '90s. He and Brent Haskins and a couple other people were student managers at the time, and they all of those guys went on to really big, good things, which is kind of unique.
God rest his soul, Brent Haskins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just once, can we hire someone into this town that doesn't have some type of cute Minnesota connection?
Oh, we've done that before. It's happened before. Tubby Smith,
Dan Munson,
Richard Pitino, Dan Munson. It's happened before.
All right, so word is this Medved dude is for sure going to be the next.
I think he's one of the front
I think he's the front
He was actually interviewed the last time. He was one of the finalists the last time when they hired Ben Johnson. I know he got an interview. That's when he was at Drake.
Put it this way, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the guy.
Yeah.
The article I read said as soon as the season's over, he's going to sign on the dotted line.
Well, the other game to watch and another coach to watch is the coach at Drake. And the Iowa job obviously is open now with Fran McCaffrey being let go.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, he was let go this weekend.
Oh, God, I bet he's pissed.
So the coach at Drake, this Ben McCullum, his name is going to pop up a number of different places. They play Missouri in the first round of the NCAA tournament on Thursday. So,
all right. What do you think of this bracket idea? We were jaw-jacking back and forth. All of us, get your hands on a bracket.
Yep.
We're going to compete, but it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have our significant others fill the bracket out. And that'll be the one you go by. So that way, if your bracket is really bad, we can blame it all on our significant others and have a lot of fun tearing them to shreds. And then the loser has to buy beers and dinner somewhere down the line.
I think it's a lot of fun.
Sure.
What are you, Brad Ryder, Randy Shaver, you okay having your wives fill out the brackets?
Sure.
And we'll go that way.
Okay.
All by themselves, no helping, no coaching. You just leave it up to them.
Okay.
And then we can spend a couple weeks tearing the people we've agreed to spend the rest of our lives with, tearing them down and making fun of them until... We'll organize this. Maybe you can all just email me your bracket.
Okay.
I love any excuse to bully my fiance.
Yeah.
That's our love language.
God, I hope he loses.
The number one seeds in the men's tournament, Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. And they'll start tomorrow night with the, what do they call it, the first
play-in?
Play-in games.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So we'll be coming back to that off and on until you can barely stand it. Anthony Edwards, 41 points last night. Timberwolves won their 8th straight pretty easily over the Utah Jazz by 26 points.
If they don't beat a team like the Jazz pretty bad, that's a problem. So, nice win last night. Comfortable.
Yeah, the Jazz have lost 9 in a row. Edwards topped 40 points for the 7th time this season. A couple other guys that had strong games. Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
Messed around and got a double-double.
Yep.
Big dunk in the game last night. For whatever reason, Anthony Edwards always murders a member of the Utah Jazz with the slam dunk. That John Collins dude almost died last year. Last night it was that big old Walker Kessler. Edwards dunked over his ass, and the place went crazy. In the game, A1 from damn day one passed Andrew Wiggins for 3rd place on the Timberwolves all-time scoring list. He now trails Kevin Garnett and Coral.
And if you look at the Western standings,
yes,
a couple of things come to mind. One, the Lakers are free-falling. They're now to the 5 spot and could easily, within the next 2 weeks, the Wolves could jump into that top 6 with the way the Lakers are playing. And speaking of free falling, if you watch the Mavericks, who barely have enough players to put on the court, the Phoenix Suns, who are horrible, have a chance to sneak into the play-in game. The Wolves are going to end up in the top 6, I think. the way they're playing right now, unless something catastrophic happens, they're healthy and they're playing great, and there are some teams in front of them they can catch. So,
last night also marked the 200th head coaching win for Finchie.
Yep.
200 wins. Tonight they got to get right back at it. They play the Indiana Pacers at Target Center.
I wonder at what point is LeBron going to try to come back, because without him they will fall, like you said. They will into the playing game.
But what about Baby Nuts? Baby Nuts can't carry that team?
Well, they don't have enough talent, though. If you look at their roster, they're struggling, man.
And then I saw a video of LeBron over the weekend at his, I don't know if anybody else saw it.
I saw it, yeah.
He's like high school basketball game. He's moving around better than most 25-year-old in-shape people. I'm like, what is wrong with him? He claims to have a groin injury, and he looked fine to me.
What do you mean? He's running around the gym?
Yeah.
No, he's on the sidelines cheering on his son at the state tournament. And there are some people who thought that he ended up wanting to not play so he could watch his kid play.
I would believe that.
In the state tournament.
Like to me.
Well, something tells me, Brad Ryder, that his groin might be built a little tougher than my groin. You know what I'm talking about? He's got an NBA groin.
I wonder whether he's just not taking a couple weeks off.
Yeah. And if he does come back, rested and healthy and whatever, you're right. They're a different club with him, that's for sure. But they just don't have a lot of depth right now. They have some injury issues despite him, and they're struggling.
I don't know. I think he's just got a tougher groin than most.
I've got a Washington Generals groin.
All right, we were St. Patrick's Day. We were talking about fist fights in the streets. I asked you to text in. Tell us where you got your ass kicked. 651-989-9393. Mendota Heights. Someone got their ass kicked in Climax, Minnesota. Someone in our listening audience, Josh, got their ass kicked in Tijuana, Mexico.
Ooh.
That's terrifying.
Not a good place.
Glad they survived.
A street dance in Winona.
It's always a street dance.
Oh, that's where I got wailed on in Maple Lake. It was a friggin' street dance. It turned into a 30-on-1 street fight.
What is up with the street dances? It brings out the worst in everybody.
All the beer.
Yeah, it's drinking all day.
Brainerd. Ooh. All right, so far, the most disgusting rumor I've heard all basketball season concerning Julius Randle and his future, or lack of a future here with the Timberwolves. So, here's the rumor. Randle leaves after this season, and then there's all kinds of confusing financial discussion. That would free up this amount of money, and then that money would go here and there. Okay, so Randle leaves after the season, and then the Wolves would go out and sign James Harden.
No. Oh, my God.
Somebody get me a puke bucket.
Oh, God, I'm with you on that. Please don't do that.
Want him or Durant, I'm sorry.
Yeah, please don't do that.
That's the rumor. That would just make my stomach turn over.
Oh, I'd be interested just to see the struggle you have on whether or not you watch the games.
I would end up having to play along. I would be upset, but I would end up having to play along. And maybe I'd see an interview with him or something that would change my mind. I just cannot stand the way that man plays basketball. I cannot stand it. Dribble in the lane, dribble in the lane. Oh, I've been fouled. I've been fouled. Dramatic, what do they call it in the business now, Josh? What do they call this?
Flopping?
No, the sidestep, the dramatic step back is where the unbelievable step back, three-point jump shot.
Kind of seems like he might be a bit of a jerk, too.
I hate it.
In interviews.
Please don't. I don't know if I'm losing my mind, but can we dummy down that music a little bit? I feel like I'm shouting my balls off over here. Yeah, there you go. How about what happened over the weekend in Chicago? In Chicago, at the Bulls Arena. Do they still share it with the Blackhawks?
Yeah.
Okay. What do they call it now?
United Center.
United Center, right. Yep. Used to just be Chicago Stadium. Some of the Bulls championship banners got damaged at their home arena because a live concert by Disturbed got what they say here, a little too far down with the sickness.
I can't imagine the embarrassment. I was wondering if hopefully their pyro guy doesn't get canned over this.
Disturbed? Oh, yeah, I would hope not.
Oh.
Disturbed played a show there a night or two ago, and they flipped the switch on the pyrotechnics, and it burned up some of the Chicago Bulls championship banners hanging there in the arena. That's funny. So they drug them down, and they're going to fix them, or just throw them away and make new ones.
That's too bad.
A lot of people are making the obvious joke. Well, Disturbed didn't have to worry about that when they played at Target Center a couple weeks ago.
Nothing hanging
They were
there.
safe.
You know.
Man.
Although I bet they would have felt pretty bad if they would have burned Malik Sealy's banner down.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Now listen to this, Josh. I forgot who wrote the article. It doesn't matter. It says here, it seems now that Bulls fans will think twice before getting their butt rock fix from Disturbed.
They're not butt rock.
What?
That's not butt rock.
No.
That's like moody dark rock.
Yeah, this is the big lead that wrote that. Yeah, no, they're not butt rock.
Well, what would the definition of butt rock be then? I guess I'm not positive.
Nickelback is butt rock.
People
Okay.
call Nickelback or Creed butt rock.
Gotcha.
And if you go back, I
Or
mean,
divorced dad rock. I've also heard.
Oh, all right.
yeah,
I've heard both.
but that's crazy. They're lucky they didn't set the whole joint on fire. If it went up that high,
Wow.
Lighten
That's
up.
amazing.
the banners.
Yeah.
God dang.
I mean, you're messing with like structural damage to the place when you're going that high.
Here's a good point from a texter. It's their hometown, so maybe they get a little bit more of a free pass than another band.
Yeah.
I was not aware of the fact that was their hometown. A bunch of farm boys beat up one of our listeners in Ortonville.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know some folks who.
Did they come over from South Dakota to do that?
They didn't mention any. They just mentioned it was over a girl, Randy Shaver.
Yeah, I'll bet that's what happened.
Mentioned it was over a girl. Sure, they come over from South Dakota.
Yeah. Not messing around with our girls.
Steve Kerr is about the only character involved with the Golden State Warriors that doesn't instantly enrage me. He's the head coach of that operation. Saturday, he passed the late Hall of Famer Al Attles for most coaching wins in Warriors franchise history.
Yeah.
He's now at 558 wins. Old man Attles, he died last summer at 87 years old. Your winners from the girls' state basketball tournament over the weekend, Providence Academy.
Did you watch any of it, Nick?
Not a minute, not a second of it.
I watched the Providence game because I wanted to watch Madden Greenway.
Sure.
Unbelievable. I mean, and I watched her last year too.
Yeah.
She is such a tremendous player. She is so quick, so fast, so confident, just plays at a different level than the players on her, I shouldn't say on her team because they've got a good center, a senior center as well, but she's really, really, really good.
Well, it says here that her school there, Providence Academy, made history. That's 4 consecutive state titles in Class AA. Hopkins beat Maple Grove in the 4A title game. That's their 9th state championship.
Which is the most ever by any team.
Is that right?
That's correct, yep.
Class 3A, Benilde St. Margaret's defeated Marshall. That's 3 in a row for Benilde, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that is correct.
And Brad, in the Class A title game.
Oh, boy.
Your former high school, McRae, was defeated.
Yes.
Was defeated.
Yep, that's all right.
By a group of gals that represent West Central area.
It was a good run.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to happen in Clare City since they put the subway in at the gas station.
I love those road trip gas station. Have a little combo there. He's on the way to Iowa. It's got a Taco John's inside. That's just good living.
Josh, would Daughtry be middle-aged housewife music?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody wanted to know a C word for male genitalia. What's that rock? Motley Crue, I've heard referred to as C rock.
Yeah. They had that label put on them many years ago. Many years ago. Anyone see the video of this high school basketball referee out there in Michigan, and then everyone threw garbage at him after the game was over?
Yeah.
It's up on 93x.com.
That was kind of fun. In a place called Benton Harbor, Michigan. You know, everyone's into their tournaments now. A big, important high school boys basketball game, and the referee, I guess, didn't have a very good showing, and the students were throwing trash at him.
Poor guy.
And the ref was an old-timer. And at one point, he over-dramatically fell to the floor after taking a plastic water bottle off the dome. I thought that was a little bit of acting on his part. He did take a basketball to the noggin, too. And I got to say, these people were quite accurate. Damn near everything that was tossed at the ref hit him on top of the head. They're very accurate. It was like an episode of Gilligan's Island, and the ref was the skipper. Everything was just... and a coach, an assistant coach for one of the two schools involved, has been fired because it was determined that he was involved in throwing trash at the referee. But did you see where the empty water bottle hit the ref in the head, Josh, and he went, "Oh, God, oh."
Maybe because it was like the third time he got hit in the head.
I mean, come on.
He did kind of a, oh.
Yes.
One of those.
It was wildly overdramatic. He was
that is such terrible. That's awful.
It's terrible behavior.
It is awful. That's awful.
He was escorted off the floor.
As he should be. As he should be. That's awful. That's terrible.
I know it is, Randy. I agree with you, but
that is just. I mean,
I can't help but have fun with this one. I don't.
That poor guy. I mean, I don't care how bad he is. That's just, you can't. Just can't do that. That's awful.
It was the dramatic falling that I can't shake it. I'm sorry.
Well,
you're right.
The accuracy as well. I mean,
Oh,
it is
God.
like the only place he got hit was in the head.
Yeah. Nothing hit him off the ass or on his shoulders or everything right off the top
Yeah,
of his
I hope
head.
everybody gets in some serious trouble for this.
Ba-doom, boom.
There must have been trouble there because there's quite a few cops that are hanging out.
Someone texted in and said it's a rough school.
It must be to have all those cops there.
And then I read that once they got him off the floor and he's walking down the hallway, someone threw a notebook at him. And he's thinking, well, for Christ's sake.
I mean, I'm sorry. That's just awful.
Well, we know it is, Randy. You don't need to talk any of us into that. Sorry, but it also
People
came
wonder
off
why
a
there's
little...
a referee shortage.
Exactly.
No, actually, Brad, nobody wonders why there's a referee.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. Not unless you got a mental health problem. Everyone knows why there's a referee problem. They're thinking about pressing charges on these people.
Well, I hope so. Thank goodness something like that doesn't happen here. That's just terrible.
Well, give it time. In the tournament.
Yeah, I'll go to a game this afternoon, Randy. I'll show you.
No.
You'd miss, though.
Yeah,
You'd miss so bad.
Yeah, you would have no chance.
The bottle would fall 3 feet short.
Somehow you'd knock yourself out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The ref picks it up and throws it back at me right between the eyes. The whole student section's laughing at me.
We know it's wrong, Randy. You don't have to talk us into it.
Okay,
But,
all
but
right.
you got to forgive us on this one.
I understand.
Yeah.
Those poor JV softball umpires in the South Suburban got me to deal with pretty soon. So,
What's happening, Brad Ryder?
never mind.
I could see you lighting a
What do you
youth
mean? You
ump up.
can't say something about...
I said those poor JV softball umpires in the South Suburban Conference have me to deal with pretty soon. So.
Don't be wetting your pants at the JV softball game.
They'll be.
Don't make a fool out of this program.
Oh, my God. Really? Remember who you're representing here.
Right. It's a classy operation. We don't need you taking your shirt off and flexing and throwing. Taking the chew out of your mouth and throwing it at the ump at a JV softball game.
And we haven't told you when, but when you least expect it, we're going to show up at one of those games and
Are
just
you?
heckle
Okay.
you. Just roast you.
Yep. That'll be fun.
Suck, Ryder.
That would
Suck
be fun
it.
to go to the game.
Here's the latest
game for the players because we're heckling their assistant coach.
Here's the latest high school basketball shot clock controversy. We covered one last week, I think, from Michigan. This is Wisco into their tournaments. This might have been the championship game. The Division I section final. 2 schools involved, Marshfield and Kimberly. Marshfield jumps out to an 8-point lead at the halftime. How does a grown person say that? At halftime, they're up 8. Marshfield's up 8 on Kimberly. Second half, they score the first 7 points of the second half for an even bigger lead. At one point or another, it was a 23-point lead with 10 minutes left. To ensure that Kimberly could not come back, Marshfield parked the bus. It did not even try to shoot in the final 10 minutes of the game. They waited for the defense to commit a foul. It was a free throw parade from there, and Marshfield went on to win the game. And, of course, folks are saying if there was a shot clock, Kimberly would have at least had the chance for a comeback. But since there is no shot clock, they just kind of held on to the ball.
I would have had the attention span for that when I was that age. Passing the ball around for 10 minutes without scoring or shooting, that would get so boring.
You don't even have to pass it.
Yeah,
though,
really.
Right.
Give it to your most sure-handed guy. He tucks it under his arm and waits to be fouled.
Right.
So let me get this straight. This is something I wasn't aware of last week when we were talking about the Chicago Cubs and Dodgers going to Japan to play each other. I did not realize that they were also playing exhibition games against Japanese teams.
Yep.
Now, tomorrow morning, I think at 5 o'clock in the morning, is the game, the Cubs and Dodgers.
Yep. They played 2 games there, Tuesday and Wednesday.
And they count in the standings?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you guys know they were playing exhibition games? Against?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they have already played the Hanshin Tigers and the Yomiuri Giants in Japan.
Yep.
And I was reading an article here about the differences between the American majors and the Japanese majors. And sorry I missed it, but so the Dodgers and Cubs played these Japanese clubs. They went without a pitch clock. The Cubs actually lost to one of these Japanese clubs 3-0 and only came up with 3 hits. The baseball is different there. So when the Japanese teams were in the field, they used their Japanese baseball. When the Cubs or Dodgers were in the field, they used a Major League Baseball. They mentioned here, still to this day in Japanese baseball, they have in the clubhouse a little phone booth-sized room where you can go and have a cigarette.
Cool.
Sweet.
They haven't cracked down on the cigarette smoking in Japan the way we have around here. It was prominent in the 70s and 80s to see a guy pulling a heater.
For sure.
These days, you never see anything like that, unless one of your hitting coach is 80 years old or something like that. But still in Japan, they have an enclosed area that looks like a phone booth where players can grab a cigarette when they have an opportunity.
Is all tobacco banned in Major League Baseball? Because
it is.
It is now?
Yeah.
I always wanted to chew tobacco because I thought they looked so cool when I was a kid.
They do look cool.
Yep.
I believe they've tried to really turn the screws on chewing, but you still see guys with a wad quite often. I remember a few years ago they were going to try to crack it, close it down completely. But these are grown men, for Christ's sake.
I just don't think you see that very much as much, though.
No, you don't see it as much, but you still see it.
Yeah, but it's usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's usually the older player. I don't think the younger players do that very much.
Well, that's a shame. Buck still has one cooking all the time. No, you don't see it as much, Randy. It's not 1975 anymore, but you still see quite a few players.
They're all probably just using those Zens, and you can't really tell when you got one of those.
We should bring up the fact that Royce Lewis left yesterday's game with an injury.
Awful.
I didn't know anything about that.
Oh, he's done.
He's going to be out for a while.
Oh, my gosh.
Running to first base.
Yes.
Come on.
It's just unbelievable how this guy and Buxton get these soft.
Neither one of them are going to make it to open
tissue injuries. It's just crazy.
Well, I was totally unaware of this. So wait a minute, Buxton's not going to be ready for?
No, that was just a comment.
Royce Lewis is not going to be ready. He's going on the IL.
Yeah, he's going to be out a while.
He could miss a couple of months.
Oh, God. Well, that
it's
sucks.
Awful.
I bet he'll start chewing. Yeah, if he doesn't already. That sucks.
So terrible.
That's just. It's just hard to.
If you watch the video, he's just running down the first base line. I mean, he's not doing anything. What he didn't dive. He didn't.
It's amazing, Brad, how these guys are in the shape that they're in. They do train. But this guy.
I wonder if they overtrain. I mean, I keep wondering that.
I've heard that theory. You're not going to catch me or Cubby overtraining.
No,
I'll tell you that.
Smart for that.
I've heard that theory, Brad Ryder.
So disappointing.
It's freakish at this point. It really is. It's hard to believe how often those two players, Buxton and Lewis, turn up injured. It's like a freaky thing.
It's just really disappointing. And they're going to lose Brock Stewart for a while. He's injured. He's going to be on the IL. It's just, this season is starting off on a sad note because this team actually has a very good chance to compete. But Royce Lewis, to not have him to start the season after he's had a decent spring training, he's been very cautious about making sure that he takes care of himself and all this. He's played 140 games the last 2 years.
It's a damn shame.
He's missed so much time.
Because he's a great player and a good kid.
Yep.
It's a damn shame. I never saw this firsthand. Turkey Burger Jesus texted in to say when that Nishioka kid came over from Japan 10, 15 years ago, it says he was always, Turkey Burger Jesus at least says, he was always rocking a lung dart in the Twins clubhouse. I never saw that. I wish I would have spotted that.
He also had the team install a bidet for him in one of the toilets.
Good for him.
He liked to keep a clean ass?
Yep. So I think, and then after he didn't make it, they just kind of called it like the Nishioka, like bidet tribute or something like that.
TK used to have a stogie while he was pitching BP.
Oh, yeah. There's that great picture of him in the Zubas.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly had a
in the
dog.
Metrodome.
He had a dog turd in his yap damn near 24 hours a day. The players is a different story, though.
Yeah.
I never saw Nishioka burn one. All right, 2 big league ball clubs have 0 nationally televised games scheduled for the 20 and 25 baseball season. Who are they?
Chicago White Sox.
Chicago White
Yep.
Sox.
Their game shouldn't be televised locally or nationally.
Probably the Miami Marlins.
No.
Oh.
I'll give you a hint. It'll be the first time you've ever said it out loud.
The Athletics.
Well, say the full team name.
It's the Athletics.
Well, they're the Sacramento.
No,
Athletics.
they're not.
Oh,
They are
okay,
not.
whatever. They're playing.
They're not.
But they're playing in Sacramento.
Yeah, but they're not the Sacramento Athletics.
But it's more fun to say out loud than just the Athletics, isn't it? I had never said it out loud before. Yes, the White Sox and the Athletics. 0, but this can change, obviously. But so far, as of now, 0 nationally televised games.
It's too bad because the Athletics actually are going to be a decent team, too.
Then they'll find their way. I mean, if both these teams become, surprise winners, they'll get on television. The Dodgers lead the way with 21, and the Mets, and the Yankees, and the Phillies. Yeah. Minnesota Twins, 13 nationally televised games. That's right. Why aren't they calling them the Sacramento Athletics? That's where they're playing.
Yeah, but that's not what they're called.
But they're no longer.
I believe Tampa Bay is playing in the Yankees spring training park all year.
Yeah, and they also late last week turned down a new stadium in Tampa. That club's in.
They may move.
They're going to move. They're not staying there.
Well, you go.
That's a mess. That Tampa Bay thing's a mess.
Yeah, their friggin' ballpark got torn to shreds by a friggin' what do they call that thing, Josh?
Well, the hurricane.
Tsunami. A hurricane.
Yeah.
Tsunami.
There you go. Paul Flatley died.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yes, he did. I remember Paul Flatley. 84 years old.
Paul
Rookie of the year.
Outstanding receiver. Yeah.
Rookie of the year, 1963 for the Minnesota Vikings. And then, after his career was over, he called Golden Gopher football games.
He did.
He was a color commentator, at least, with Ray Christensen. Here's a quote from Paul Flatley on how well he did in his rookie year with the Vikings in 1963. He said, I had a quarterback by the name of Fran Tarkenton.
Yep.
I could run several patterns on the same play, and he would find me.
Still find him.
Well, yeah, because Tarkenton's running around, scrambling his ass loose, for 4 minutes. Yeah, you could run a. He credited Norm Van Brocklin, the head coach at the time, and Fran Tarkenton. He said, I learned the game because of those two guys, and I was very fortunate to be a Viking.
Mick Tingelhoff has a great quote when he played center for Fran. He said, I learned that you keep blocking for as long as you can because Fran will come back around to you at some point.
Right.
when you're blocking, a pass blocking, that Fran will come back around at some point.
The Seattle Seahawks signed that Cooper's Cup. And one more little note, Ski. Is this how you know you're whooped? Is this how you know you're whipped? P-whipped. Bill Belichick has asked the University of North Carolina to copy his girlfriend on all of his emails.
Oh, my God.
That is so hard.
It's probably so she can help him keep track of it.
I was going to say, he sounds like keeping
true,
his
since
life
he's
in order
old.
a little bit.
Does he share a Facebook page with her?
Oh, yuck. That's always a sign.
We have a couple's Facebook page.
Yeah, there's
Who
a joint.
cheated?
Yeah, exactly. There's a joint email or Facebook account. Somebody cheated at
That
one
means
point.
somebody cheated. You're probably right. Bill's older than the hills. He needs a young person. I need a young person to help me out with. Unfortunately, it's just my wife. She's not that young.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Couples Facebook page. I haven't been on Facebook in a long time. The first time I saw that, I thought, oh, come on. Have a little bit of friggin' independence, for Christ's sake. And then I addressed the guy. What are you doing with a couple's? Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. No, it isn't.
Even I don't have that. Nick.
Yeah, and you are friggin' whooped. Whooped. And he knows it. All right, that's
don't pick on Brad.
You guys aren't even drunk yet on St. Patrick's Day, and you're acting this way. It's embarrassing. Thanks, boys, very much for everything.
All right, see you tomorrow.
If you do go out, be careful. We'll be back in a couple minutes here on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.
Michael Rosenbaum and his Small Bill co-stars take you behind the scenes of one of the greatest shows of all time.
Talkville.
I just had a flashback.
Tom Welling's here.
We're going to do a podcast
Throughout the year, we've got a lot of season ahead of us.
It's big talk.
This is good fan stuff.
Yeah, there was some good
stuff. If you're watching the
stuff.
show, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
On Smallville.
Yeah. They made it like this is the first time they've seen the guy ball.
That's hard.
I thought it was pretty dark.
It's Talkville.
We're pumped.
The Smallville Rewatch Podcast.
You got to be a part of it.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, you dirty bastards. Welcome back to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show, 8:32 already. It's going to get buck wild in a couple hours in St. Paul. Well, it's probably already getting a little iffy in St. Paul. They're cutting loose with their St. Patrick's Day parade at noon. And then I did receive a text or two, Josh, reminding me that the city of Minneapolis also has a parade and a party scheduled for 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, theirs is later. Okay, so you can hit both if you really want to.
Oh, that's double duty right there.
That's late.
That could be trouble.
That's a good shift.
Was that you and I sitting side by side on an airplane, Josh, when we got home from some miserable trip years ago where the flight attendant grabbed the mic and said, "Welcome to Minneapolis International Airport."
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't she a Southern belle of some sort? She had a bit of an accent.
I don't remember. I remember.
Yeah, Minneapolis.
Close enough.
She had, do you recall that she had cake?
Oh, yeah, she had cake.
She had cake. All right, so talking about drinking and hell raising here on St. Patrick's Day. Unfortunately, fist fights can go along with that type of a scene. There's always a few hard-ons out there that never grew up, so they start fights and then they go home and cry themselves to sleep. We simply asked the brother and sisterhood, so where'd you get your ass kicked? Nobody bats 1,000. Everybody gets whooped now and again. Where'd you get your ass kicked? Like what town?
Richfield for me.
651-989-9393 if you have an answer. Richfield, is that where you were like a 10-year-old kid and a 70-year-old hit you in the mouth real hard and your lights almost went out?
No, it's more embarrassing than that. Because I was probably a 15-year-old kid and an 80-year-old sucker punched me from behind.
Oh, that's
and
the
like
best.
in the cartoons, I was seeing stars. I was just the closest kid to him, and it was my friend that was talking trash to him, not me. I just was standing there, and I happened to be the closest. He got me right behind the ear.
This is before you and your friends started to follow the golden rule of don't be talking trash.
Yeah, at that point, a couple of them were talking trash. I was an innocent bystander.
Came around behind Cubby, little 15-year-old Cubby, and smoked him right in the jaw.
Yeah, well, I was standing kind of like just over to his left. He was behind me. Never saw it coming. Nothing. And it took me a while. It was just like rush hour. Which one of y'all kicked me? I had no idea where that came from.
Were you in pain, or were you just so stunned as to what just happened you couldn't even feel it?
It didn't necessarily hurt. It was stunned. My feelings were a little hurt. And just I kind of felt like I was going to black out for a split second.
Did you
I
roll?
legitimately saw stars and birds around my head.
Did you roll a couple tears in front of your buddies?
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
I was furious because I'm like, well, what can I do? I can't hit this guy.
Why can't you hit him?
Because he's like 80-some years old.
So what? He cracked you in the yapper.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever been so mad because you wanted to act and you just couldn't act? You couldn't do something about it?
Yeah, you don't want to kill the guy.
I threw my bike and it's like, I was so mad. I half thought about it and then I just walked away.
You threw your bicycle.
Yeah.
And you walked away.
I was furious. And then I'm pissed at my friend and I took it out on him later.
Because he's the one who
He was the one that wouldn't shut up. The rest of us were like, all right, dude, let's just go.
I mean, it goes without saying, throwing down and getting in a fist fight, it's always a friggin' bad idea. Especially these days. Folks take it to a level that is so ridiculous. But, old war stories are fun. We asked you to text in. Just simply, you can give us all the details you want. Where'd you get your ass kicked is all we're looking for. 651-989-9393. Here's a few answers. And if we don't always get to your Jesus name, we apologize. Sometimes editing, we try to go so fast to pile up as many of these texts as we can before we go on the air. We don't always have time to get your name. You know who you are. Took a beating from an off-duty cop in Jordan, Minnesota. That was from You're Driving Me Nuts, Jesus. Took a beating from an off-duty cop. Here's one listener who says, I almost got my ass kicked in Mound. And then I remembered that town is full of a bunch of sissies, and I cleaned house. Got jumped by two guys in St. Cloud. Oh, my damn. Every weekend. Every weekend. Sometimes more than once. When I was living up there as a 21-year-old dude, we had to fight. It was so friggin' pathetic and stupid, and it was constant. So I know a thing or two about getting jumped on the streets of St. Cloud. The one dude came at us, Cubby, jumped out of the bushes, and he had his keys positioned between his fingers. You know that his car keys.
I had an uncle that taught us that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, that's a good way to pluck somebody's eye out of
That's
this.
exactly where he said to punch.
Why would he want you to pluck somebody's eye out for him?
He's in prison, if that gives you an idea of the type of guy he is. He once beat a guy with a piece of sidewalk almost to death.
Yeah.
He's troubled.
I spent 2 years at St. Cloud State raising hell, and I never once got into a fight.
Things must have changed by the time you got up there because it's all we did.
I saw the fights, but nobody ever messed with me because one of the guys in our circle was a 6'4" tank from Bosnia who basically he probably had his first fist fight at the age of 2. Like this dude, nobody mess with this guy on campus.
The Bosnian playboy.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you're a big dude, so I'm surprised people don't want to mess with you. It seems like big bald, or now it's just big bearded Jared. He mentions that people mess with him all the time because he's a big dude.
Just because he's a bigger dude?
I would never mess with him, but he said that's kind of what happens. People get drunk and they want to fight the big guy.
One of our listeners got sucker punched on the streets of Minneapolis. It rearranged my face, he said. And his Jesus name is Irregular Curvature of the Nose Jesus.
That's great.
Got beat up 5-on-1 in Coon Rapids for talking crap on Facebook.
Went from Facebook to the streets?
Well, that happens all the time, it seems
I guess
like.
you're right, yeah.
Oh, God, it's so freaking
It's crazy.
stupid.
You would think by the time you decide to meet up with this person from social media, you would have calmed down and talk yourself out of it.
No, well, maybe you're sitting in the car and they just posted something new on your phone.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Blacktop Mojo Mofo Jesus, 1990. Got attacked from the back by some prick from Mora. Yes, he says it was a street dance.
What the heck?
Fatty Mac Jesus got jumped in Brooklyn Center right in front of his house. His dad came out in just tighty-whities and watched.
Oh. The old man came out the house in his drawers.
It's like an episode of Cops.
Well, I suppose if you're grown, you don't take your medicine. Maple Grove, a couple of our listeners got their asses kicked in Maple Grove. One of them says that Maple Grove is where dreams go to die.
St. Bonifacius, sucker punched right off a bar stool by the birthday boy. F that town, they say.
Hey, it's his birthday. He can punch who he wants to.
You can't sucker punch somebody. I don't like the sucker punch.
St. Bonnie. Well, that's what St. Bonifacius, that's French for sucker punch.
This person said they're 6'4", 220 pounds. Every bar they walk into, someone wants to start S with them. That's what I've always heard from the big guys.
That's so weird.
Was your brother in that situation?
Never. See, I hear those stories, but, I mean, I hung out with some real gorillas, including my brother. Nobody ever stepped to them. So I hear these stories, kind of like the stories, you get hit on more than when you're married. I've never seen that happen. Sometimes I think they might just be old wives' tales.
I don't think...
yeah, that's
I get hit on
true.
twice as much married. Never seen that once. And I'm talking about not just me. I'm talking about all my married buddies. I've never seen any woman approach them ever.
Well,
Maybe that's for a different reason.
Well, it could be. Are you saying they're unattractive?
Is it the breast tissue that your wife talks about?
Don't start with the breast tissue.
Is it the breast? There was a time in my life where I was hit on once or twice, believe it or not. It sounds like a tall tale, but it's true. But I don't think I've been hit on at all since I got married, to the point where I kind of have a complex about it.
I mean, get hit on once or twice, fine, but there's so many guys who always say, oh, it's more when I get married.
Oh, yeah, they say it's like it attracts women.
That's nonsense. They say that out loud to make themselves feel better. Minot, North Dakota. Hot mom slayer. Jesus got his ass kicked in mind rot. 1987, says another listener. La Crosse, Wisconsin. Oktoberfest. Got his ass kicked. This is insult to injury. Got his ass kicked, and then the cops told him to never come back again.
Oh, all right. I probably wasn't planning on it.
And you're laid out on the turf going, well, didn't you see what just happened? Why do I have to never come back again? Butcher's hack Jesus got sucker punched at Brainerd International Raceway. He says, I folded like a cheap lawn chair. I had it coming, though. I was terribly intoxicated. Got my eye socket broken by some douchebags in Mankato.
Oh, man.
7-on-1.
That's not fair.
I bet that hurts something awful.
7-on-1. He's lucky he was only in an eye socket.
Well, here's a person that disputes the thing about being married. Wore a wedding ring to a bar one night because I lost a bet. I swear I've never been hit on more in my entire life.
Yeah, I guess they've said the psychology behind that is because it shows that you're desirable.
Right.
You have the capability of taking care of somebody.
I've heard it a million times, and I still don't believe in it.
I got hit on a lot more when I wore a wedding ring.
Whoa. I don't think we dudes will hit on women. You could be in a casket and we'll hit on you. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true.
I don't think
that's only like 4 weeks of your life, actually.
Right. I don't think you really can measure.
You're right. Yeah.
The same way. In a town called Emerson, Manitoba, one of our listeners got straightened out. Says, I got the snot kicked out of me in Emerson, Manitoba. My buddy picked the fight with a couple of guys because he kept asking them, so, you guys are from Canada?
What? Dude.
Is that where you're from?
You did that to yourself.
I've never heard that before.
No, it wasn't him. It was his buddy. You guys are from Canada.
715 Wild Man, Mild Man. Jesus said he got punched in the back of the head in Maplewood at a 311 concert. Nobody's ever mad at a 311 concert.
No, I thought
You're
everyone was
high.
so stoned they were just waiting for that song where the guy goes, chill. What was that one? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Chill. I got a this and a this and that and a this. Someone tell me what the Corcoran. It's a peaceful place. Corcoran really is a peaceful town. There's no reason anyone should be fighting in Forest Lake. A couple listeners texted in and said they got their asses kicked at divorce court.
I bet that's so.
Oh, man. Yeah. Try and behave yourselves today. Like I said earlier, fist fights are such a friggin' bad idea. Just the other day I was talking about my last fist fight on my 33rd birthday. Got in a fist fight at a bar on my 33rd birthday. That was the last legitimate fist fight I've been in. That was 20 years ago. It was so dumb. So stupid. And I'll never forget the look my girlfriend at the time gave me when we both woke up the next morning. You know, we got in this terrible fight, went home, went to sleep. The next morning she looked at me as if she was thinking, you are the stupidest son of a bitch I've ever met in my life. Because it was.
I've never been with a guy that gets into fights like that. That is such a turn-off.
It is. You're right. You're right.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Absolutely hammered.
On 93X.
Yeah, here we go. We're closing out today's program. Let's close out this conversation on scraps. Street fights. It's a drinker's holiday today. Fights will happen. We hope everyone behaves themselves today, of course. A few more text messages. We simply asked our listening audience, where'd you get your ass kicked? And they were free to add any details that they'd like to share with us. Big bucket mouth Jesus says, I got jumped by 3 guys in Prior Lake. They broke the glasses right off of my face and then helped me pick up the pieces after they kicked my ass. That's a polite crowd down there.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
That's how fights used to be, right? Somebody lost, and then everybody kind of just shook hands and went on their way. You can't hit a guy with glasses, though.
No, that's not allowed.
How many nights when we were young and we were out together, when things started to get a little iffy at the bar, did you slide on a pair of eyeglasses?
That's the only reason I carried them around.
Exactly.
This person got sucker punched at Brookdale Mall, had braces at the time, and had to peel their lips off the braces, blood everywhere.
Ouch.
I accidentally punched a friend that had braces, and I still have a scar on my knuckle.
Right in the yapper.
Yeah.
One of our listeners this is not right. Got jumped by a guy in an alley in Bemidji at 9 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning?
You shouldn't get your ass kicked by someone who still has eggs on their breath. You know what I mean? 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, there should be a certain time of day where ass kickings can begin.
Dodging.
Kind of like in The Wire, Josh, how they have that code where you don't do any business deals on Sundays.
The sun has to at least be fading.
Yes.
Before fist fights start.
Yeah, they have to be serving alcohol for more than an hour at that point. Dodging human turds, Jesus said he got his ass kicked by a 112-pound wrestler in Baudette. It was embarrassing because I'm 6'3" and almost 300 pounds.
Yeah, they'll just pull your legs up your own ass and sit on the back of your head. Yeah, that's what the wrestlers do. This is great. You know, we simply asked, where'd you get your ass kicked? One dude texted in and just answered, Mankato, Minneapolis, Cokato, Howard Lake, Duluth, Brainerd,
Buddy,
Rochester,
stop fighting.
Jackson, Fergus Falls, Detroit Lakes. Well, I don't know.
Well, maybe the list of places he's won is longer. We don't know that.
Yeah, that's
where he got his ass kicked.
You should see the wins. You should see his list of.
Boner Grower Sheesa said that her husband got headbutted at a Green Day concert, but the other guy broke his own nose. He doesn't know how to give a headbutt.
You got to know how to deliver a headbutt. Watch old documentaries on Jim the Anvil Neidhart if you want to know how to deliver a proper. And I don't believe this for a minute, Josh. Do you? A listener says, I was in South Central Los Angeles. I fought the neighborhood bully. His name was Debo. I wanted to use a gun, but my dad talked me out of it, and I had to hit him with a rock instead.
No, that's from a movie.
Is that a movie?
Insurance adjuster Jesus said that he got his ass handed to him in downtown Mankato by 2 chicks.
No.
Beat him up. Ooh, Mrs. Jeweler Jesus, Webb Lake, Wisconsin, after a St. Patty's Day parade. A case of mistaken identity where she was pulled down by her hair from behind. The next day, she had to comb out a clump that was just ripped out.
They remodeled your haircut for you.
All
right.
Hair.
This is something I accidentally stumbled upon yesterday. I stumbled onto a list here. A list of famous names on this drinker's holiday. I found a list of famous names, and I wonder how many of these folks, well, some of them are dead. I wonder how many of these famous folks are aware that they've made this list. somewheres on the internet, I found a list of famous high-functioning alcoholics. Now, first off, Josh, do you know the exact definition of high-functioning? So does that mean you hit it hard, but you still make it to work, you pay your bills, you care for your children, and you're not a total ass to people?
Do you mind if I'm getting real here?
Go right ahead.
For several years of our relationship, you were a high-functioning alcoholic.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you would qualify because you still honored all your responsibilities, and if somebody didn't know you as well as I did, they would have no idea.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought the general definition of high-functioning alcoholic is. Okay. Yeah, I know. I pushed it too far for many years, and you still loved me.
Of course.
So, again, I don't know the reasoning for this list. I don't know who put it together, but it's famous high-functioning alcoholics. Some of them alive, some of them are dead. And there may be some dark stories connected to some of these celebrities, and forgive me if I'm not aware of them. I'm not trying to poke fun at people with drinking problems. As you guys know, one of my closest friends recently died way too young, and part of the contributing factors to his death was his issues with drinking. But it just struck me funny. Why would someone put this on the internet? Here they are. Daniel Radcliffe. Isn't this the dude who played Harry Potter?
Oh, yeah. That's straight. He doesn't give me alcoholic vibes.
Okay.
I wonder when he started.
That's kind of where I'm going with this. It's like, okay, really? How do you know this? What? Bradley Cooper?
I can see that.
He kind of looks like he can put him away.
Yeah. Looks like a Scotch whiskey guy.
Everyone knows this. Lindsay Lohan. Wah-wah-wee-wah.
Yeah, she could throw him down back in the day.
I don't know. Would you call her high-functioning, though? That really seemed to affect her career and everything.
It's a good point. Mel Gibson.
He had some issues. Some pretty well-known ones. She should slow down. Leaving messages and the way he spoke to some cops.
I don't remember any of these. I mean, I remember that he was in trouble for a while, but I don't remember any specifics. He just running wild in the streets, starting trouble.
Yeah, he had some troubles.
Stephen King, the author, is he still around?
Yeah.
This one surprised me. I see this kid in movies. The last time I saw him was in a really, really, really bad movie called, what was the Von Erich movie again? The Iron Set of Nuts?
Iron Claw?
The Iron Claw. Horrible movie about the Von Erich. They say Zac Efron is a high-functioning guy. How do you have abs like that and be a drunk?
Yeah, I question that one, too, because he's talked about his training regimens for movies like Baywatch, where he's got his shirt off. He talked about how he would just basically eat like a vegetable a day and would just cry himself to sleep.
Oh, well, there you go.
Again, random list from the wildly random and misinformed internet. These are the celebrities that they put on a list of high-functioning alcoholics. Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it's pretty well documented.
Yeah, I could see that.
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, see, I don't know that you should count this. I questioned this list for that reason. Like, a lot of them have been in rehab and stuff like that.
Rehab. Yeah. But at least at one point in their lives. Billy Joel. Michael Phelps, the swimmer?
I thought he only smoked weed.
Robert Downey Jr. Now, there's a celebrity I remember some stories. Not necessarily strictly about drinking, but it was drugs. Oh, my damn, was that guy on a tear in the late 80s, early 90s. Now, I do remember one story, and again, it's just a story. All of this is just internet nonsense. Take it as seriously as you like. But I remember a story about Robert Downey Jr. where he got so gooned up on drugs and booze, he woke up in a stranger's home in a child's race car bed.
What?
It's a hell of a bender.
Samuel L. Jackson? Shia LaBeouf?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's documented pretty well.
Andre the Giant.
Does anybody tell stories about that guy and drinking?
David Hasselhoff.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, another one. If you just peruse YouTube a little bit, you might see a video about a cheeseburger.
Yeah, him laying down topless with that cheeseburger.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I curse him. I curse David Hasselhoff because he is the reason why I never watched Baywatch.
Oh, you missed out, man.
I know I did. I did watch that documentary recently about Bay, but that's how much David Hasselhoff's appearance just sickened me that I couldn't even leave the channel on all those gorgeous women running around in next to nothing. I couldn't even hang around for 30 seconds because of David Hasselhoff. Oh. Maybe if we met in person, we would become fast friends. Who knows?
I'd like to see that.
Everybody, please have a wonderful and safe St. Patrick's Day. And by damn, we'll check in with you tomorrow, won't we, Josh?
We will.
Hey, you beautiful podcast listeners. Seriously, you folks are the best. We don't tell you that enough, but you are. And we couldn't do this without you, and we couldn't have a podcast if it weren't for our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, you can save up to $7,500 on a mini-split ductless system or a high-efficiency heat pump combo with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. I know those are some fancy terms, but what it really means is they're going to make sure you're comfortable in your own house. And get this, they even take care of that rebate paperwork for you. Visit standardheating.com to lock in your deal and enjoy the show. And seriously, you guys are the best.